I don't need it.
Oh, that should be a good point. Music down. And welcome to session number... You have to look at the number. 79. I've got it in two places that I can actually see, but I still have to look at the screen to make sure I actually put it on there. Considering how often I get that bit wrong. Okay. Just checking to make sure if we weren't having someone else pop in at the last moment. We won't have a Clarissa on. Session number 79. We have we'll have 3 people at the table and 1 person online today. So we'll start off with Paul describing his character.
Claw, dark-haired, pretty boy, elf, diplomat, warlock, party healer, and present focus of an entire army. And he's going to have to go and apologise to an entire people.
So you'll get used to that apology, I'm sure. I'm so sorry, I'm the one you hate.
I'll just wear a hat with it on.
I went to the Sylvan Realm and I became the Boogeyman.
Valid.
I went to the Sylvan Realm and I was like, with this lousy shirt.
Yeah, well, I got this T-shirt that says I'm the Boogeyman of
So to put that into perspective, I have been telling people that over the history of the setting, all the elves tell the story of how the Shadow Elves abduct and take them away. And it all led up to the point where Llewell cast a spell that then abducted and took all the elves away.
Very, very powerful spell.
So it did exactly what these stories had said.
Yeah, it was Elsendil powered. Powered
and
with the indirect power of a god, and pulled all these people through time in a one-directional way. So they're going to go home. They're going to have to find their own damn way.
Which does mean that all the Dragonborn you've seen existed in the past.
Yeah. And most of them now don't. Which explains why there have been so few Dragonborn seen in the past few years, or basically up to now, because I nicked them all from when they were young.
Quite possibly.
Yes. See, there's another people I'm going to have to apologise to.
It's about 9,000 Dragonborn in our army.
Yes, basically all of them.
Yeah, all of them.
Though you don't really know if that's true or not. It feels true.
Feels like a lot.
It's
Because you didn't take all the elves, you only took a selection of elves.
21.
Yeah.
That weren't going to impact on society and the timeline.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
On the other hand, Dragonborn aren't really that much into society except their own.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they're created beings, so they'll affect things less in the long term.
Okay.
I have disrupted the lives of tens of thousands of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's pretty much all your fault.
No, it's Elsendil's fault, it's my cause.
With a slight little interference here and there from friends.
Yeah.
I'm sure they were saying we were helping.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Dressel. Dressel's always helping, just ask him. Yeah.
Very helpful. He's very helpful.
Okay. Then we have Kesley.
I am playing Koopa Lani Aokai. She goes by Lani, the human Makai fighter. Hold on. Where in order to find titles? Lonnie
Line of the Undying is one of them.
Lonnie the Weapons Master, Lonnie the Undying, Bane of Fire Giants, Provisioner of Pixies, the Fey Human of the Clan Llewellyn.
Yes, because that's the thing. Having the others accepted by the elves involved me basically making a clan, an elven clan, and making them part of it.
So now, as a human, I am regarded as not only an elf, but a hero of elves and of the Clan Llewellyn.
Yep.
Of
Yes.
the elves. So.
Yes. And if you're an elf, you probably know all this because you're here. Possibly, depending on what Martin's about to do.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
We'll see.
Okay, so online today we have David joining us for his first session with this group.
Poor bugger.
Yes, I can't wait to make your lives difficult. Hello, I play David. So I play David?
Don't worry, we've just renamed your character.
Every day.
I'm David. I play Kane. Yeah, I roleplay myself every single day. I'm David. I play Kane, an awfully sickly-looking, hobo-type looking guy, an elf, who, I guess, might have some sort of abilities. Who knows? We can find out soon.
And yes, we're now up to Ariadna.
Who's just arrived.
So I'm Thala the Late.
Wrong character.
No, wait a minute.
Calcrix.
I'm Duke and Cover. No, Calcrix now.
Calcrix is the white dragon.
It changes.
I need my Calcrix avatar so that I can
So you
remember.
can really visualize things properly.
Was playing Duke and Cover.
There.
No, because
And
Calcrix's usual introduction is I'm Calcrix, the white dragon with the jazz wings.
Very nice.
Right.
Uses the wings
Cool.
as part of its somatic gestures for spells.
Who now owns a coffee franchise under her name and
Cool.
has her companion gnome Grindle Waffle running that side of the business.
How big is she?
This one, she's only
Medium-sized.
8, isn't she? 8 or
She's
9.
a medium-sized dragon.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm like super young.
Growing.
So basically my attitude is to hug everyone, even if they might turn out to be a villain, and to offer everybody coffee, which seems to have worked fairly well for me so far.
I've got sort of used to that with Drazzle, so it's not
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
much of a stretch.
Usually I think there were a lot of similarities between the two.
I was going to
Yeah.
say, was it me who started Drazzle with the coffee, and him with me with the hugs?
Yeah, it was the hugs. Drazzle doesn't usually do coffee, although he has offered tea.
We kind of do.
Yeah.
Well, I
Do
have
the
tea as well.
steps.
So yeah, that will remind me of who I am. Which means I need to get my Drazzle stats out, which I'll do quickly while you guys are.
Mm-hmm.
And so they also have the NPC Drazzle, who they accidentally sent back in time because it was needed at the time.
Well, he sent himself back and broke down a legendary item that I was carrying and combined it with my almost legendary item. Actually, probably is.
It was a legendary item.
Okay, so it's another legendary item, sword. So now I've got 2 in the same sword.
Hmm.
Double legend.
Yes,
So you've now got a sword, which is also a key.
yes, which is not activatable yet.
Because the staff was a key.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just didn't have the right lock.
Right.
Then it got used to open a lock.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
May last year sound like about the time Calcrix came off and Duke and Cover and Thala came in? Because that's the last
Yeah, that should be correct.
Hmm.
Because it should be around the right level.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I was opening a reasonably recent stats for her.
It should all be fairly good. Okay, so in the storyline, you had been asked by the elves to save them, rather reluctantly, because they'd already sent off multiple expeditions to find the parent tree of life. And Llewellyn showed up with the claim of a clan that was supposed to be extinct. So instead of actually having to deal with said claim, they then sent him on the same quest they sent all the other champions. Well, none who have arrived in the Elven lands as yet. So there are some problems with where the other ones turned up, but I'm sure you could ask various people who might have sidelined them.
So this is Law we're talking about?
Yeah.
For people who can't pronounce it properly.
I'm one of those who can't pronounce it properly.
Nobody's pronounced it properly.
I'm sure you come closest.
Well, apart from me. And
Kind of like my name.
Even then I made a mistake just before.
I have
I rolled
people
it
of the,
easily.
where some sort of Slavic language is their first language, like Polish, Russia,
Yeah.
etc. They pronounce my name better than I do. Because I never knew Russian or Ukrainian, and it's a Ukrainian name.
Okay, so yes, you travelled to the Sylvan Realm, which had been overrun by a human mage, forcing the elves to leave it many centuries ago, at least 400 years ago. And while you were here, you found the 12 keys that would unlock the vault to the Tree of Life created by the god Ilsundal as his ascendancy. So each god creates something as they become a god.
Yep.
And this was what Ilsundal created. And then linked to all those who followed him.
It reminds me of writing your PhD thesis.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's literally a masterwork. It's the one you make to prove that you're qualified to be a master.
Yeah.
Which is what a master's degree actually is.
And so each god has literally created at least one of these to become a god. And they generally have another one to do at each tier that they ascend to. So the greater gods have done at least 7 of them.
Right.
Because there are 6 tiers of godhood once you become a god.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And they're always working on the next one. That'll probably be more about right.
Mm-hmm.
It does suit the concept very well, doesn't it?
Well, given what Drazel was doing, he was telling them a story about me and making the sword more suitable for me, and I'm studying dragonology and focusing on red dragons.
Yep.
Or at least red and gold dragons, fire dragons. So this is what my sword looks like now.
I like it.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's really cool.
It was this nice,
I
sleek,
imagine it's not easy to
smooth
get in
blade.
and out of that scabbard, though.
Nah.
I'm sure the
That's
spines don't
flames.
come out till you pull it out.
Oh, okay. So the blade is
Yeah.
actually straight. It's
That's-
just representing the
Right, it's
fire.
straightish. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
yeah.
I know it's curved, but I mean like a
Yeah.
straight curve rather
Yeah,
than
yeah.
toothed.
And it's definitely not the sort of arm sword anyone wants to touch.
Yeah.
No.
Does it have a name?
Oh, it's still got the same name.
It's the moon blade.
Actually, well, it's one of the moon swords. I can't.
It is the moon sword.
Oh, the moon sword. Yeah, it's the original one.
It's the one everyone copied.
Oh, okay.
They copied off the original one.
So you get
Yes.
royalties every time someone uses the.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You should have
I'm
a sizable bank account by
Not
now.
sure that that's something I want to enforce.
Oh,
It would
No.
be amusing trying to do so.
I don't know. You've got Moonblade. Surely
hopefully
there's
it's
a
not
way.
public domain by now.
Though you
Yeah.
might have to ask the god who's behind it. I think they might be claiming the royalties for that one.
I
Yeah.
think so.
Right.
Yeah, because there's what, 7 moonblades?
No, there's one per clan.
Yeah, okay, one.
And
per
you
clan.
now know there's 20 clans that you know
Yeah.
of.
Yes,
Not counting the ones you
But
don't.
all the moonblades are at least. Okay, I'm just going from the right up.
Mm-hmm.
They've all got a number of powers based on the history. They're all intelligent,
Mm-hmm.
and the way Martin's doing things, they're the symbol of the champion of each of the clans.
Yeah.
Which means every major clan gets a moonblade.
Yep.
Yep.
And
It's-
this is the moonblade of the Shadow Elves, which existed before any of the other elf clans.
Yeah.
So it is the oldest.
So his
moonblade.
blade is literally
The
5,500
older
years old.
sibling.
Yup.
Yeah.
Do we have Jeremy today? or
We
is-
do not have a
No,
Jeremy
that's-
today.
Yeah.
I tried poking him. He is probably regretting skiing decisions at some point.
Maybe. Hopefully not.
All I'm thinking of is probably cold and out of reception and
Most likely.
missing playing games. That's my regretting skiing decisions.
Yes.
Hopefully you win something. That'd be cool.
I do hope he does. And Clarissa's unfortunately busy as well.
We do have a date.
We do have a David.
Yep.
So, David, would you like to describe your character to everyone? I think we have already had you describe it, have we?
Yeah, he did.
Okay, you did.
Yeah.
So,
I thought I heard an
Yeah, I did.
introduction from
Yeah.
online,
Yes.
Yeah.
but I wasn't sure how many introductions had been online.
Yeah.
okay, so yes, and we did do the rundown of the story. So, yeah, they found the keys, they found the tree, they awoke the elves that had been hidden in the forest. And while explaining to the elves that they really aren't bad people, even though they're carrying a symbol of hatred amongst them, because someone was wielding the blade of the Shadow Elves, even though technically it's accepted him as its rightful user,
Yeah.
which means he's descendant from them. But in tradition, nearly every elf could be seen as descendant from the Shadow Elves,
Right.
because they were the original clans.
Right. Makes sense.
All the elves separated from them.
Yes.
So the forest elves and every other elf that came afterwards left them.
Gotcha.
And so they developed a hatred over time
Yep.
of each other.
Yeah.
For various reasons, as you'll find out soon.
Of course.
And after getting accepted by these elves for saving them, Llewell was honoured with having his own clan, and all the other people thrown into that clan to simplify things for them. So the last thing they wanted to do was to have to have anyone in the not of their people join their clan,
Yes.
because the forest has a way of harming those not of the elven people,
Yes.
Yep.
We've made you part of that.
Yep.
because it has been designed as such to
Yeah, it's meant to
protect them.
Protect against.
Mhm.
So it's nice now that we're defending a city where I don't have to worry about going for cover and the building decides to try to zap me.
And so to help the elven people fight a war with major armies to the north and to the south, Drazzle gave Llewell the first amulet of Elsundal, the one that Elsundal created, carved himself, and gave him a ritual to summon some help.
Using the amulet as a power source.
Yes. And used the sword of the Shadow Elves to summon them.
Which is now...
Which is, you can understand now why no one could figure out who summoned them.
Exactly.
Yes.
Because you used one artifact to take out another artifact.
Yep.
Yes. And also, no one knows except us what the original Shadow Elf Moonsword looks like. Because it's always been this dragon thing with the flames on it.
Yeah, as far as I know.
Though you
it's
will
always
find
been-
some books that show both.
Okay.
Because time is not linear.
Oh, right. Okay, good point.
As the fact that things can travel through time, you can have two pieces of work side by side showing before the change, after the change. And there's a lot of cases of that.
Yes.
So memories exist, as do written works and paintings, depending on when people show up and modify things.
Yeah.
Just that Drazzle's been a photobomber for a very long time, and has shown up in many paintings after the fact.
No subtlety that way.
Well, it has let you know that time can change. Because without that, most people would think that if it's happened, it's always going to be that way.
Yeah.
It has shown time and again to you that you can change destiny, and you can change the path of what's going to happen.
Yeah.
On your blog thing,
Yep.
under D&D RPG,
Yep.
where do I go to find tonight's pages?
The Calcric stuff?
Not Calcrix, just our group in general.
Your group in general, I don't have a page for the whole group in general, but on the D&D page it will list everyone.
So just go to D&D.
And that will also have, on the Friday, it should still have the dragon.
I just wanted to... It's okay. I'm roughly where I need to be, so...
All good. Okay, so that roughly brings you up to speed, where Luell had then had to welcome 1,000 members from each clan, and including 7 clans of Dragonborn, which he wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
Meaning he's now got quite a force at his disposal, with an influx of about 30,000 people into the battlefield that he wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a few more than I thought.
It's a lot.
Yeah, but I've spent a lot of time not so much organising them as persuading them to organise themselves effectively.
Yeah.
Because I'm not military, they are, but they have to work together, and that's what I've been doing.
Yep.
It would help.
I've been diplomatic.
Diplomacy does come in handy.
I don't have any abilities in diplomacy yet.
We'll get there soon.
Yeah, I'm qualifying for it.
Okay, so with that, I will kick off where you're up to right now. You had travelled to the north to see that there were various gods that way who were backing each of the amalgamation of the armies. So there were 4 armies to the north and 4 armies to the south. And each one was using one of the greater gods as their symbol to unify each group. So you had quite a horrifying force facing you, and they were using gnomish technology as part of their defensive tactics, which again is something you're not expecting, because the elves that you have brought through time do not deal with technology well.
No.
They're not fans.
No. Well, in part, a lot of them are from before any of the technology types actually turned up and did anything.
Though again, it's also after the technology was wiped from the world.
There's that too.
Which then brings us to the next thing that happens is Drazzle hands Luau Redrian's staff.
Oh.
Wait, what?
Drazzle,
Yep.
is there a particular reason for me to have this, or is it just a good idea?
Call expected.
Very well. So the first thing. Okay.
And with you back at the camp, Drazzle says, tells you with through the mind that he's heading to discuss, and then walks off north.
Right. Doesn't say anything about who or what about. Just discuss.
Yeah.
So does that mean he's
Does it-
leaving us for now?
He's off doing a job that he's decided he needs to do.
Okay.
Drazzle's been Drazzle.
So we don't know if it's permanent, short term, long term. We just know that he's gone off to do his thing.
Yeah. Well, it's to do with what we're doing at the moment, but yeah, we don't know anything else, including when he'll be back.
I'm just going to put discuss in quote marks.
Yes. No, that's entirely valid.
Well, at least he hasn't tried to take you backwards yet.
Yeah. I don't know, Calcrix are probably like that, to be honest. More people to offer coffee to, you know, more people to make friends with.
Oh, that's a point. That's one thing that happened last session. There was a hint that this has been done multiple times because the previous attempts have failed. So it's been redone in time, basically until it works.
So this is loosely based on Back to the Future?
To an extent, without the car. Which is a shame. I want the card.
And it's sort of been hinted that Dressel keeps changing things.
Most people
Yeah.
want the card.
Yeah, Dressel keeps changing things to try and make it work.
How is Dressel not a god yet? Or is he
He's
a god but we just
working
don't
on
know?
it. Oh, he's doing demigod impressions.
I
isn't
reckon
he?
he's going to be like a time god.
Mm.
A temporal god.
Yeah.
To become a time god is extremely difficult.
Yes, he's working on it.
Mm.
Yeah, because he's throwing around abilities that you wouldn't expect on a level 20 wizard.
Yeah.
Because they get things like level 9, you get time stop.
Mm.
They can stop it going for a couple of minutes.
Mm.
And he's going, I'm just going to go back 3,500 years and
I'll see you
have
later this
s-
afternoon.
and talk to the guy who made this sword and have him make it differently. And then come back.
And you think he came back second by second.
Yeah, he's aged through that time.
He took a one-way trip.
Yeah. Because he can't have it legendary item powered both directions.
Okay, so yes.
Which explains why he's a bit weary.
So after he leaves, you hear a odd sound coming from the staff.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to be normally when Madrine calls, you recognise it.
Yep.
It's not making those sounds.
Right, so I'll hold it up to my ear
You hear it
and say hello.
asking for little you.
Child you?
No, little you. We established this earlier. Little you is a nickname my mother uses for
Oh,
me.
okay. Yes. Yes.
Little you is in the tree.
Yeah.
If you want to make notes. Mother.
And then you, as you say that, you feel the staff connect to the ground right at your feet. Luckily your feet weren't beneath you on the staff because you feel it embed right into the ground.
Yeah.
And then your sword starts to sparkle.
I hold it up because it looks really cool.
Okay, so as you hold it up before you, you see an opening appear.
Okay.
It's not
See
it's not
anything
like
through
a
it?
portal you've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
It's shimmering. You seem to have opened a doorway somewhere.
Okay, is there anything, any reply from my mother through Redra and stuff?
There is no reply at this stage, but you do have a feeling that something's coming.
Is it an ominous feeling?
Not any more ominous than any other one you've had before.
So, no idea. It could be a hug from my mum or some Cthulhuid beastie. I don't know.
Yeah.
But you do
No,
hear
Martin, both of them.
you do hear the sound of rocks snapping around you. Give me a perception roll.
Quickly look around. 20?
20. Okay, on a 20 you do notice that the various Dragonborn that have been helping build fortifications snapping a lot of pillars that have going through town that had runes rising up them.
Okay. What are the runes on them?
Oh, they're defensive runes.
So, sorry, this thing goes into the ground,
Mhm.
and then it destroys or creates these pillars.
No, these
No.
pillars were already there.
Okay.
The
Existing in the
pillars
town.
are being worked on by the dragon bird.
One
Okay.
That's not what
Alright.
I've got right here.
Yeah.
Alright, hear you
It's
back.
the snapping sound that I've heard. We've got a Jeremy.
We've
Oh
got
no,
a-
this is David.
He's got a
Oh,
David
he
He
back.
fell off for a bit, so he's back now.
Yep. So yes, you see that the Dragonborn have snapped some of the protective pillars of there.
So they're snapping them off. They
And just carrying them away.
okay.
Are they breaking the runes?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I'm a bit busy with this, but I'm going to have to ask them about this after.
And you have an idea that they've been doing that throughout the town.
Okay. Well, nobody else has objected to them about it. I will ask.
You don't think anyone else has noticed yet?
Oh.
Should any of us roll if we want to notice?
If anyone else would like to notice, they can roll.
I don't speak Elf.
Calquix wants to know, but Calquix is not going to know. She got an 8.
I
think I got like a +6 for her, so it's like a 14.
So yes,
if there's anybody nearby, I'm going to ask them to go and ask the.
And then you hear this sucking sound as someone steps out of the portal.
I'll ask after.
Dressed in head to toe in armor you've never seen before.
An elf, I presume.
Hard to tell. You can't actually see any skin. They've got what appears to be a helmet with glowing eyes at the moment. And
yeah, but 7 foot tall and slim, right?
Not slim, but probably about 7.5 foot tall.
Okay.
And sort of looks like the sort of person who could take on any sort of physical activity without any problem.
Being very, very, very impressive in glowy armour.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's like seeing the guy with the glowy shoulders in a MMO.
Well, it looks like someone who's leveled up.
Yeah. Yes. What are you wearing? Best in slot. Thank you.
He looks at you and talks at you, and you find that half his words seem to be screeched out in your brain for some reason.
Ow. So
You don't think he's causing it?
No, it's something. Okay. Things are hurting my brain again. I will greet him politely and in as formal Elvish as I can do.
Mm-hmm.
That's this mysterious figure is coming through the portal.
He came through the portal, yes. And he pauses for a moment, seems to wait a little bit, and then says in an odd sort of toning, you're not very sure that it doesn't feel like it's actually spoken, but it's coming clearly through to you. Says, are you Llewell of Clan Llewell?
Yes, I am.
Yes.
But can
You have been
allow the
summoned.
clan to come? There can be only one.
And then he steps through the portal.
Okay, there's only one thing I can do right at the moment. Step through the portal.
Okay. So you find yourself in a stone chamber with no light.
What do I hear?
You hear sounds of people talking and hum of some sort of machinery that you're not familiar with.
Yeah, I will see something. Remember, elves have dark vision.
Do all elves have dark vision?
It's a racial thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And
you can get a feat to extend it.
And as your eyes adjust to the fact that there is no light here, you start to see shape of what appears to be a court. So you appear to be in a royal court.
Okay.
With a throne and what appears to be a king, and behind it signets that signifying 4 clans that don't exist.
And they've all got dark hair.
No, not all of them have dark hair.
Okay. Well, sorry, a lot of them have dark hair.
A lot of them have white hair.
White? Yeah, they'd go that way. Okay, so I know where I am. By the way, the dark vision is 60 feet only.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So you know where you are. Where are you?
Shadow of Court.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Basically, I've gone through somewhere. They don't use lights.
So you've gone through the portal?
I walked through the portal because he did. You are Thorwell of Clan Thor. You have been summoned.
Yeah.
And I
Sorry,
went,
that was swing when I was getting my glasses.
No, yeah, you were. I've been summoned. I stepped through the portal.
I'm only remembering all the things I'm supposed to bring to bed. My hearing aid's fixed. I almost walked out without that. And then I'm like, now I need my glasses. Now I've forgotten this.
There are days like that.
No, most days are like that for me.
And
You've got both pairs of glasses.
Yes, I need them because I can't read this with those glasses. I have struggle reading some of the other ones with the other glasses. I have to go back to OPSM because the person recommended I have two rather than multifocals, and I think they've screwed them up. Anyway.
And back to the storyline with you standing in there.
Sorry.
You do recognise after about a minute or so that your sisters are standing off to the side.
Okay.
As is your mother.
Well, that's not unexpected.
But your brother and your father aren't here.
I almost wrote Clan the Cloud. I'm like, no, don't write the M. Don't write the M.
And you do recognise the that the king sits under the symbol of the clan Celebril, which was the clan that you were representing.
Yes, it's the one on the sword.
And you hear as he talks, you realise your ability to understand his words is limited. Because every now and then it feels as if something screeches in your ear, covering up some of the words he says.
Yeah, I was expecting something like that when the guy in the armour spoke and there were things missing from it. Somebody is blocking some of what they're saying. So I'm going to have to deal with that.
Yep.
Because normally it's, I can understand what people are saying. That's the end of it. With 10 minutes warning, I can talk to anybody. But,
and it twigs very quickly what is. Any word they say that has a technology base behind it.
Oh, yeah. There had to be something that was...
That's what I mean. It twigs very quickly.
Yeah.
But it took the dropping into court after the other thing to go, you're sort of noticing that around you is... this room is not arcane focused, it's more science focused.
Right. Okay.
They have technology that the elves have forbidden.
This is...
Majorly forbidden.
Yeah. I'm not going to tell anybody I've seen any of this because it would be bad.
And what you understand is that you have been brought here to decide how you want to answer.
Yes, I have been thinking about that. So this is not coming out of the blue from my point of view.
And you notice that amongst them is
Drizzle.
no some dragonborn.
Mm-hmm.
And these ones don't look like Drizzle.
As in, they look much younger, or
they do look younger than the one you're seeing.
Or a different style of construct. Somebody else made these dragonborn.
They do look like they've been. They generally have more angular scales.
Mm-hmm. Or is it just a different type of dragon as a base?
Probably.
Because there's subterranean and shadow dragons and so on that people don't normally see. Earth dragons. Stuff like that.
And you do know that the dragons were linked to the first elves.
Yes.
So being linked now is not unusual.
Yes. Yes. By the way, that sword image, that's I may find a better one.
Mm-hmm. I am happy with that.
Yep.
It's not a locked in stone thing.
No.
Considering even the storyline is not locked in stone.
No.
So yes, you didn't get all the words that he said, but you did get the understanding that he has called you in here to answer for what you have done. Apparently, you weren't allowed to be questioned until now.
Can I just say this? It's timing of these supposed time people is really bad, because this is just before we're supposed to go into a really big battle, and they've decided now would be a good time to have this discussion.
Have a little chit
Well,
chat.
Well, so some of them have waited like a couple of thousand years for being allowed to have this discussion.
Yeah.
So when you're being told, okay, you can have it now, are you going to wait?
No.
No, but whoever's telling them they can have it now has really crap timing.
Blame Ilsendal.
Well, they couldn't ask him until after he'd done what had happened, because they weren't allowed to change what he chose.
Yes.
You're kind of lucky
Right.
that Calcrix didn't know all of this, because she would have prayed to her god about it every night, and her god actually comes to listen to her because she just talks.
Yeah. Well, I went and spoke to Ilsendal a few sessions ago.
Yes, yeah.
And
The gods do listen.
they do.
But
Particularly
that's scary when they decide what they're going to do about what you talk to them about.
Well, yeah, all you can do is ask and hope.
Mm.
That's what prayers are all about.
And then you
Except
end
ours
up
actually work.
being the person who's committed all these technological crimes and abductions.
You haven't seen some of the early stuff we've done.
So yes, you find yourself in court
Yes.
with...
Well, with people saying, "Who are you?" and
well,
what
no,
have
they,
you-"
they all know who you are.
Yeah, they've been studying me for 6,500 years.
Instead of answer for your crimes, I'm going to put answer for your activities.
But it's the translation. It's not the actual word they've asked him to do. It's all
Yeah.
been translated because their version of Elvish he doesn't understand anymore.
Yeah, because it's been isolated for thousands of years.
And a lot of words have been redacted.
Yeah. Some of them deliberately. Well,
All the redacted ones were
redacted
deliberate.
deliberate, yeah. Okay, so as I said, I am not coming into this blind. I have thought about this, not very long, but still, I have thought about the sort of arguments I'm going to make. So, here's where I get to be usefully extemporaneous. And considering that's basically what I've been doing all along.
I will give you an insight roll as you're looking around the room.
Yes. Also remember, because of
Sorry,
one
guys,
of the
can you guys
warlock
hear me now?
abilities.
Yep.
We can hear you now.
Yep. Yeah, because of one of my warlock abilities, I'm going to get advantage on all the rolls in here. So good, I took that.
So what's your insight?
Good. My insight.
Because that will be quite important right now.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Whoa, climb up.
That's 21, but it's charisma based. So, well, actually, no, insight's wisdom based.
Wisdom based,
So
yes.
I don't get the bonus on this.
Okay, so with the 21 is good enough for you at least to realize that the person your mother used to talk about as her father is sitting on the throne.
So that's your granddad.
So you literally are
I
the
am
son
a Shadow
of
Elf.
the Shadow Elves.
Yeah, I am literally half Shadow Elf.
Yes, you are.
Well, the other elves are also Shadow Elves because they
And-
are descendant of these elves.
Yes, but I'm directly
Yes.
descended, and also
So you are literally part of this clan.
and also not just nobility, I'm royal.
Mhm.
Eee. Yay. Ooh.
Disney princess?
I don't attract small animals by singing.
Yeah.
But we have had a character that does that and then feeds them to an axe beak. Unfortunately,
Yeah, but that's not
they've
me,
left.
though. I'm not the Disney princess there.
Give it time.
I'm not picking up levels of druid just for that.
They didn't have levels of druid.
No,
No,
they were just
they didn't need.
emo.
I know, but I'm not going to do.
Yeah.
It was a complete performance role.
Yeah. Yes. On the other hand, if this is Disney princess, it's Disney princess like Mulan.
Yeah.
And in fact, I'm leading a war, so yeah.
So yes, you do realize that
Several heaps.
while you are not in line for the throne, you are you are a son of the,
A prince of the blood. Yeah.
which is the only reason the sword worked for you.
Ah. Right.
it would not work on someone who wasn't of the clan.
Yeah.
They had to be
Had
of
to
the
be
actual
of-
clan. Didn't have to be
Okay.
nobility, but
Just
had
the
to be
clan.
of the clan.
Did you say Prince of the Blood?
Yes.
Yep, that's okay. I was just making sure you didn't
Yeah.
say Blade.
Yeah. Well, Prince and not adopted.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And now you know why your mother took your father's clan.
Yes, because she'd stand out a bit if she didn't.
Wait, does she have dark hair?
She can change her hair colour.
Yeah. Sorry,
They
the
all
thing
can.
about charisma checks is one of the other ones. The invocation of the corpse thing is straight out advantage
Mhm.
when dealing with it. So it's even on the inside. Okay, I made it, but still.
You made it. And so yes, you do recognise that he looked to be at least 8 foot tall as an elf.
Granddad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Big impressive
Granddad,
dude.
And he looks almost in the prime of his life, even though you know he's not.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you consider the elf lord from the forest from
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think is it?
Definitely.
Not
Thorin.
Thorin.
No, sorry.
No,
Thorin's
Thorin's one of the
dwarf.
dwarves.
Is that Legolas's dad?
I can't remember the name off the top of my head.
The one with
Legolas's dad,
Yeah.
and I
The-
do.
Legolas's dad is very
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
That works.
the one with the tall crown.
Yes.
Um,
Oh, I love that crown too.
Yes.
Cool.
His
I
sword's
think
very
good job
pretty.
with that.
Yes. Yeah, which is actually
What are
amusing
names?
because for an elf, Thor's not actually that tall.
Mhm.
He's actually short for an elf.
You do notice that not a lot of tall elves in the room.
Right, but he is.
Yeah.
Isn't that Glorfindel?
What?
Legolas's dad, Glorfindel.
Oh,
That was it. Yes.
There we go.
Mm,
Yeah.
I think it was that.
Frangil
No, Glorfindel was the one that they considered
turned up
using
at
it.
Helm's Deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Did he
it's,
turn up at Helm's Deep?
Frangil.
Oh, okay.
So
Frangil.
Thrandil.
I think Glorfindel was the one that saved Frodo in the
Yeah.
book that they
Yeah.
omitted from the movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
And I remember Glorfindel being like the main elf running things at Helm's Deep, I think.
Oh, I think it was
No, at the river. Yeah. Sorry,
Think-
don't worry.
sorry.
Let's just go back.
Yep.
Well, my brain screws up my entire memory of books I've read all my life.
That's okay.
Right.
We all get that at times.
Yes.
So yes,
So where are
So,
we? So my mum is Princess Kaelin Celebrol.
very nice.
Yeah. Okay.
Secret princess.
Yeah.
and now you probably have a little bit of explaining to do.
Well, this is where I get into lots of me big explains.
Mm.
Yeah.
You better hope your
Also,
dice
it's,
like it tonight.
it's curious that, of course, your brother is. Your sisters are there.
Yeah. My brother, my dad aren't.
Among a lot of the elves, the
Because when
female line
female-
is more important.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So,
And he's Mr. Controversial and would probably have broken out in some sort of scurrilous song
of course.
halfway through my speech.
Or may actually already know some of this stuff.
Or may already know some of this stuff and already have songs prepared. Admittedly, it would be amusing if I had him as backup.
Be very nice.
Yes. But
So yes, I believe you've been given a chance to address the court before anything happens.
yeah, because otherwise they do horrible things. All right, so I have multiple useful skills at this point. I am going to avoid using deception. That would be useful.
And probably a wise choice.
Oh yeah. I'm.
What's that? Oh,
Can I use?
thank you. Sort of move him away from.
Wondering if it's worthwhile using history as well as persuasion to add to the background of what I'm doing. No, actually, because what I'm doing is now, and that's the point.
Yeah.
So,
And they
yeah.
have lots of historical records of what has happened in the past.
Yes, although they're from their point of view. But yeah, I don't need to do anything there. Yeah. The other thing I could think of to add to this is actually turn on my my dragonology abilities, because I think one of them can actually give you a skill bonus. That may actually be worthwhile me doing.
Do you want to spend time doing that? And
it will take time, won't it?
Yes.
I don't have time.
Is it 10 minutes?
It's basically a round per thing he activates. He's got to get the manifestation up, which will then shed some light in the area.
Yeah, which they probably won't like because they'll take it as an insult.
Okay, alright, yeah. Sounds counterproductive.
And then another round to activate the ability that I want once the manifestation's up.
Yeah.
I'm better off inhaling, looking people in the eye, and talking.
Just being really, really persuasive.
Rather than turning abilities on that I might use to attack them.
Yeah.
Don't use abilities in court, it's a bad idea.
I'm just getting myself drinking.
Yeah. Alright. So, as I mentioned earlier, I will put it that this is what is needed to save the elves at this time, because the great tree needs to be saved, and this is what is required to stop Morkroth the Evil from destroying the tree and thereby destroying every elf forever.
I'll give you a...
This is the method given to us by Ilsendor to do this. And if any of them look a little skeptical about that statement, I will mention what I needed to do to actually cast the spell to bring the champions.
Well, give me a diplomacy roll,
Right.
and then I will add in some stuff that they add after that.
Right.
Yeah, it's
So- Cocked. That's better. First one was single digit. That was a bad idea.
Hey, sometimes when I said don't roll a 1, what generally gets rolled?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
So, yeah. I'm going to D30. That
Seize that one.
Oh dear. So, brain hurty. What's that come to? 23.
23. Okay, so you have this, this nice rendition of you laying it all forth, and once you finish, your sister steps forward. She's no longer wearing the raiments of Ilsendal,
Okay.
wearing a different holy symbol.
I should recognise that one.
You've
Or
got
do
to
I
see
not?
it.
Okay. The Shadow Elves will have their own patron.
And she says that technically only those who follow after Ilsendal are affected by the tree, because the other clans did not accept him.
I will correct myself.
That's okay.
Every elf except those here.
Yeah.
But as much as there's an animosity between the elves, they do not seek genocide. But knowing how to do so is not a bad thing. She says with a grin.
Yeah.
Considering she knows how to speak to you and you've known her for
Oh,
a
yeah.
long time, she says that they were surprised that you were the one that stories told of, because
As was I.
they knew it was coming. They did not know who was responsible until you showed up with the sword, and preparations were being made. We have 3 historical books of events that happened or are about to happen, involved in potential outcomes. We're not sure if any one of them is an actual true account of the events, written by a chronicler who was there.
Would it be someone by the name of Drazzle by any chance?
We just know him as the Chronicler.
Almost definitely Drazzle.
And
he's a friend of mine. That's okay.
and that he has tried to fix mistakes each time.
Oh, Drazzle.
Definitely Drazzle then.
Mm-hmm.
And the last one noted down that he would try calling on the rest of the elves.
Yes. Which is basically what I just did.
Now I'll put something plugged in my nose.
And that you now stand before the rest of the elves that he hasn't called upon. So
I'm going
What
to
the
call on
king-
them. So I'm going to call on them to join in.
what the king wants to know is what's in it for the Shadow Elves to assist their enemy, the Surface Elves.
There you go. That's what you gotta figure out, huh?
What are you offering?
I'm so
First,
glad I'm having
as-
coffee at the battlefield.
Yeah. Including making one for me, and I'm not there.
Yeah, no, we can
We'll
get
get
it
there.
to you. We have
Yeah.
virtual delivery these days. With like little portals. I'm joking.
Be
Martin
cute,
wouldn't
though.
give me anything like that.
I'm still waiting for my coffee to be delivered from like 6 months ago.
I tell you, I sent it. It's got to be Australia Post.
Blame the
I
NBN.
was delivering for Australia Post at the time.
So it's your own fault then.
Who's this David person? He doesn't want a package.
No,
We'll just toss it out back. Ouch.
Yeah. Or drop it on the road, as I've seen at one point. I was driving down the road and there was packages on the road.
You've seen our thing place, haven't you? With that big diagram. They used to park at the top of the driveway, look at the driveway, go, I'm not walking down there. They'd stick a cardboard box saying that they went down there, and I'd watch them. Literally just drive straight off.
Yeah. No, this was someone going up towards the Zonflower.
Yeah.
They were just letting stuff fall off their backs.
Oh, like their bags were overfull.
Yeah.
Okay.
happens quite a lot.
What's that bombing noise?
That's his truck.
driving.
Truck. He's
Oh, right.
Oh,
okay.
sorry.
Yeah.
No,
It's
you're
all good.
fine.
Yeah, I just didn't know what the noise was.
Sometimes I just like to identify the noise. I don't
So yes,
Yeah.
I'll give you a
No.
chance to strategize with the others while I go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry, what was that, David?
What was that?
Nothing important.
Okay.
But it might have been funny.
True.
It coming from you.
Yeah. So, yeah. What I'm thinking of, what I'm going to offer, is because we now know that all of the blame that has been laid on the Shadow Elves for what happened with missing people is entirely mine.
Yes.
I will go and apologise for you for my actions.
So you're gonna make
gonna
sure
go and-
that the blame gets you
I'm gonna
announce
make sure
that
that-
you're responsible and are accountable
And
for
not
it,
the other
and
Shadow
not
Elves.
the rest of
Yes.
your peoples.
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
That's...
This could bite you in the butt, but you
Okay.
know that sounds
Well,
entertaining. So
It's... What else can I do? It's... I'm going to accept the fact that, yes,
Well-
I did this.
you could lie outrageously,
You could
but
say
it
as-
won't end well.
As a son of both
yeah.
the Shadow Elves and the Surface Elves, you can form a cohesion and bring the Shadows into the society where they are willing and able to, and that they don't have to join if they don't want to, but that they don't have to receive the blame anymore.
Yeah.
Yes, well, it's... Yeah, I'm going to go more from the... I'm going to take all the blame on myself to absolve you
And how
of
does
the
that
blame
help
that
them?
has been
Though?
given you. Pardon?
How does that help them?
It helps them. Well, that was the next bit. It's once they understand that it's not your fault, then the hate against you should fade. It's not going to go away straight away. Because there was still...
again, why
'cause
would they
it's-
kill
You know,
her painted
have
or
you tried lying about?
It's not something I'm going to do, particularly with my mum here.
I guess a part of that will be explaining
sister?
to the other side why you did these things.
Hmm.
But I'm not quite sure whether this will be considered incentive on the Shadow Elves' part. But
Well-
you know your people the best.
Well,
Your
In
people
fact-
that you just discovered were your people.
well,
I
if-
did make that comment ironically. I just didn't put the tone in there.
Yeah. Well, part of the thing too is when I'm explaining what went on and why it was done, I can have some of the people that are here back me up. Say they were not killed, they were not slaughtered or anything like that. They were called to a mission to save elves.
They were summoned on a quest.
Which will help everyone but the Shadow Elves. Because none of the Shadow Elves were taken.
Yep.
It will, because this is me explaining why the Shadow Elves are actually the ones at fault and have never been the ones at fault. Which means if the Shadow Elves want to trade, they can now open up trade with elves, and trade is always good for people.
Possibly, but there has been open warfare between them and the Surface Elves for
Well,
over 1,000 years.
Yes, well, that's the other thing, that sort of there's no need for that, so we can stop, so that both sides can stop killing each other. Now, okay, all the
Okay,
other
so there's
points,
an advantage.
Yeah.
Less of them die.
yeah, less of them die. You don't have to be antagonistic towards these other people just because they don't like you, because there's no reason for them not to like you. Okay, there's still going to be emotional reactions and so on from people, but there's no historical reason for the dislike anymore. It's all on me, and I have to wear that. Now, these are all points that Hlul's going to make, and he's going to say a fuck ton better than I ever will.
Okay. So you spend a while doing that. I'm happy to say you still did a fantastic role with what we've had.
Yep.
And then the king says, repeats again, and what is it I'm going to get out of this?
Yeah. You should have brought Drazzle with you. Calcric with you. She would have brought coffee and chocolate, and everyone would be in a better mood.
He's sort of looking. He sort of leans forward and looks intently at you. Though you do remember seeing him growing up.
There was always people coming through the house.
Yes.
Very interesting.
Always people coming through the house.
Does this mean
How?
they like him?
Well, he knows him.
But
Well,
if he's
that-
fond of Lure,
Well,
then
great-
that might help.
well, yeah, it is. Granddad was visiting his daughter, of course, but yeah, if he, Hlul was a good kid. He wasn't one of the rebellious, well, not particularly rebellious. Okay.
Then you can say, it'll help me, and that'll make you happy.
Grandpa, don't you want to see me succeed?
You will have a hero of the elven people as your champion. Because I may be reviled for what I've done, but I've still saved them.
I have a feeling it's going to come back around to that. But why?
He says,
Yeah.
So,
So
are you willing to wear the clan symbol
yes,
and be part of the clan, and have your clan be part of this clan?
yes, yes, I am.
Pride is a very
I
good thing to
have
tap into.
effectively claimed that in public anyway, in front of the other elves.
Mm-hmm.
So it's only a half step to what you described.
Well, if you are...
I'm willing and happy and able to do it.
He pauses for a moment and thinks and says, okay, are you willing to accept the Shadow Elves as part of your clan?
That's actually a big thing. Yes, I am.
Okay. He says, and that will settle some problems. And our records say that you may need help. Will you accept the Shadow Elves' help?
I will gladly and happily and willingly accept the aid of the Shadow Elves. Thank you.
Yeah. He knows
I'm
we
very
will
pleased.
join you shortly. I believe the Dragonborn are paving the way.
Well, that'll be the
Yeah.
rune things.
Probably.
The runes probably keep them out.
Yeah.
Because
Possibly.
they're not liked, so removing the runes means that they can come in.
Yeah. Well, yes, considering one of the things that one of the magic items we picked up at one point was a soul trap box for Shadow Elves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you realise it would have worked on you.
That sounds pretty
Yeah,
nasty.
that's
Now
actually
it's scary.
It's a scary thought. If I'd opened it, have a look inside, I'd have fallen in.
Yeah.
And knowing your nature, it's very likely you would look inside.
Yeah.
He was tempted to. Very tempted.
I was very tempted. No, it. No,
Very curious, but all
I'm not that
magic
curious.
users would be.
Just on the off chance there was some relation.
Some pretty half. Yeah. Now we discovered.
No, I haven't been working on this for a long time.
No.
Where's that?
So,
That was about
The summary-
session 15.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
the summary
Yeah.
would be that he's going to take full responsibility for abducting all the elves over the years.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yes,
cool.
because I did.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, I'm just
Yes.
making sure I got
Yeah.
that right.
Here's the thing about the lying. He's good at lying.
Yeah.
It's not something he's going to even necessarily want.
No, don't
it's not,
disagree
it's
with
not,
that.
It's not something he's going to think of as an early step in things.
I was just trying to make it concise.
Yeah, that's fine. Your writing, not mine.
Numb hands
Yeah.
work a lot better at writing now, but they
Yeah.
still hurt afterwards.
Alright.
He says he has each of the clans has promised one army into the fray.
Thank you. Very gracious. Will be received with appreciation.
Well, now that we know where they are.
Yes.
So
The
you said there were 4 Shadow Elves?
Foreshadow.
Four Shadow Elf
clans.
So that's 4 armies now. Cool.
Yeah. Oh, ow, my brain hurts. Thor's brain hurts even more because he's in it. I'm just looking at it.
And considering this was your father used to tell you all the the boogeyman tales, and you're realizing that you're the boogeyman your dad was warning you about all these years.
I'm the boogeyman that elf parents have been telling their kids about for
years.
most of 10,000 years.
Yes.
This is... Thor's been thinking about this for like 2 hours now.
But still, you can go back to
Having
Dad and go, look
crisis.
at what I've done.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing, is that I have...
You can hurt his brain.
Yeah. Hi, Dad. All those stories you told me? Yeah, they're me.
Yeah. How about me? Aren't you proud?
Yeah, including, if you remember from the stories, the shape of the blade that was commonly carried by the Shadow Elves that were stealing all these people
It was me.
is this one.
Which is not the same sword you had last time they saw you.
No, it's
All
not.
I can imagine
Except
is-
it's got the same symbols on it.
All I can imagine now is you, after
Yeah.
all this, gathering all of the Surface Elf clans and being like, Meta. Just
Okay, it's going to take 15 minutes to do the speech, but yes, it's going to be my bad.
Essentially.
That is exactly what I'm doing.
Okay. So after this, they open up the portal
Makes me
again.
think of
Yeah.
Optimus Prime. So,
And it doesn't sound like any magic you've used. They basically the equivalent
it's
of
theirs.
touch a crystal and the portal opens.
Yeah. Yes.
It's almost silent.
Cool. Appropriately sneaky. I will not say this, mind you.
And you do see the light from the of the staff of Redrian basically you think they zeroed in on the staff.
Mm-hmm. Yep, well, that's fair enough. It's what Mum spoke to me through.
And you have 1 hour before we start sending people through.
Very well. I will make sure things are prepared.
He nods in your direction. It's sort of about as much conversations you've had with him that you're when you've had spoken to him in the past. He was always very abrupt and specific about things.
Yes. No, he's not chatty.
No. But he always seemed to know everything you're into.
Yeah, well, Mum would have been telling him things about me on a regular basis as well, and sending letters home and things. Yeah.
I'll give you a perception roll on your way out.
Yes, I'll take that one. 25.
Okay, as you're walking out, you see this what looks to be an old tome with your name on the side of it, and your clan motif that you just created on there. It looks to be a couple of 1,000 years old.
Do you reckon Drazzle stole it?
Drazzle wrote it.
Probably.
Well, given their description of the writer of the books...
Is Drazzle in the room at that time?
No.
Does he know the symbol was created? Or? Yeah. This is something
My
like...
symbol is one of the ones on the sword.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, it's the most recent one on the sword because every person who picks it up
gets there.
they get their symbol on it.
Icon.
So yeah,
thing.
so my icon's on the sword.
But only those the sword accepts get the symbol. And if it doesn't accept you, well, it probably just drains you.
Yes,
Battery?
because...
Or more like, ooh, battery.
Well, they got to eat somehow.
Yes.
So yes, you notice that there's this old book about you sitting there.
Yeah. I'm not going to spend time now looking at it.
But it does look like to be like about 1,000 pages thick.
Pretty good work, Baron.
Lots of detail.
Need to put that in your pocket.
Not a small book.
It was a saying, not a
I've
literal
got a-
thing.
I've got a bag of holding. That's my pocket.
And the last thing you do note is it has today's date on it.
I do have to look at that. If I'm allowed time.
You do
Got an
pause.
hour.
Yeah.
So basically, you open it and it talks about your entire upbringing.
What's it got for tomorrow?
And it's got that. Well, if you flip through to the end, it's got today's date on there of contact.
Yeah, that means that if there's nothing else written in, you are dead. You are going to die.
Well, the next chapter of things is the next book. One hopes. The other one is there's a good possibility that all of those books end with contact, but the other ones have a page after it saying how badly the battle went. This one hasn't got the battle results in it yet, so I'm going to leave it till later.
Yeah, no, you're about to die.
But it does have
Yeah, quite probably.
that does have you with red hair, with blue hair, with black hair, with green hair at one stage.
Yeah.
You never remember having green hair.
No.
And apparently, you've been changed through time, and you've changed time.
You're a modern alternative elf.
Of myself. Yes.
So someone's been manipulating your timeline for a while.
I wonder who.
yeah, yeah.
Wouldn't be someone called Dr. Azum.
Yes. Or D-Razzle, which is what he writes one of his books under.
I think he's published under Dr. Azum once or twice too.
Yeah, not surprised.
Depends on where he's publishing.
Yes, so I'll leave the book behind. I'll come back and read that later at some point.
Because it does seem some chapters were repeated as it was rewritten.
Yes. Basically, it would be really interesting to look at what's happened although possibly a bit scary and rather sad. But it is not something I need to look at now, because this is all the past.
Or a possible past.
Version.
There's that as well. Alternate pasts leading to alternate futures.
Okay, and you step back into the area where the others are, and you realise barely a moment's passed.
I'm not entirely surprised. Proper portal use ends up with time fiddling as well to an extent. And I'm presuming at this point a small white dragon hands me a cup of coffee.
Yes.
Because you've been looking for me.
Yes.
I thank you for it.
It is a
Very
very
polite.
good, strong triple shot coffee.
Nice.
So you've returned to us.
Yes.
Yep. Cool. I have that written.
At this point, I'll probably also have David's character there as well, as you've had a chance to catch up with the others.
Yes. Your Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
has fallen off.
in the most creative way.
Yeah.
A very sickly old elf, hooded elf, basically hobbles into existence. Literally just hobbles into existence. It doesn't make sense, but
He
it's
wasn't
just
there
how he shows
before.
up.
Yes. Meow.
And he starts following you around.
So
This could be the older you.
hobbles into existence adjacent to myself. And
Hopefully it's back on again.
What's that?
Wi-Fi.
I rolled to see if I noticed this
So-
happening. The answer was no.
I was going to do the same.
I look at you with a little interrogation. Have we met? Are you part of the army?
A voice in your head.
Ooh! I got
Ah,
a
it sounds
on
off.
perception.
You did notice. You did notice him.
I offered
in
the
your-
hooded
in-
guy coffee.
Yeah.
In your head, a voice is heard. I don't really know. I'm just told to be here. Well, I was forced to be here, but I'm here. So,
Your mother made you come.
Um,
She wanted you to get out and socialise a bit more.
yes. Father, I guess it's all one thing in the grand scheme of stupidity. I was quite happy not existing.
Calcrix offers you a triple shot coffee.
And he's not actually physically talking. This is something
No.
that you can hear in
no,
your
that's
head.
fair enough.
The soloons are within 30 feet of him.
Yeah, we sort of got used to that with a paladin that we had with us at one point.
Yeah.
Oh, it's literally just a class ability, so it turns out my character doesn't talk.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, he had it as a special. He was using the really low-level communication spell, the cantrip, ascending. He just would not talk, so he was using the spell all the time.
It's a choice, I guess?
Yeah, it's a choice. It was a choice in his case. It's weird, but we accepted it.
Did you
Yeah,
give Lua a name just then?
No.
No, okay.
What name can we use for you? I'm
You may call me Pain.
Very well. So
if David's character doesn't accept my coffee, I shrug and drink it myself.
Okay.
Oh, no, sorry, I didn't notice that you're offering it. Yeah, he'll take it, absolutely.
He seems quite happy to be taking the coffee.
yeah, from an undersized dragon.
Coffee is offered and then wanders off with its tray to other people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he just shrugs and drinks it a bit.
So your name is Payne. I should write that in capital letters.
Yes.
Sounds like a capital letter type thing.
Very well. If you don't mind, I have a few people to, or rather a lot of people to talk to, and not a lot of time to do it in. So if you wish to stay near and observe what's going on, then do so.
Go, ruin the world. See how you go.
I'm trying to unruin it for elves, but yes. I'm trying to ruin it for the bad guys.
Bad guys. Anyway,
Well,
go on.
The ones who are trying to exterminate elves, I think I'll call them bad guys for now.
Sure. That's what you feel like they should be.
And tomorrow we shall call them Bill.
All of them.
Yes, and today I shall call them my wet dream, but, you know.
It sounds like TMI for a PG game. Is this PG? Yeah. It's Pathfinder ones that are.
Yeah,
Well then, what we will really say is, it sounds like a great outcome for the entire world if we all die.
I reckon you should nickname this guy Mr. Cheerful.
No, just referring to him as he's a pain rather than he's pain.
Yeah.
Would that work? Yeah.
Oh, I got some spells for that.
True, fair enough.
Do you have a friend named Panic? I'm very anxious that I'm sure.
Yes. And a mum called Eris. So, I will stride off.
Mm-hmm. You stride quite, wonderfully in that billowing cloak.
Yes, and very quietly. Because boots.
I guess they're magic quiet boots.
Boots of Elvenkind.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yes, they actually give me stealth trained.
Oh, okay.
That's actually handy.
Yeah.
Then if he did learn stealth, it would give him better stealth.
There you go. If Calquix can't technically wear boots, would she just like hang them around her neck or something?
Wear them as anklets.
Technically you can, you just end up sticking your toes through the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. English gloves.
Yeah.
For my feet.
Yeah. Okay. So,
Leghorns.
I gather the clan leaders
Mm-hmm.
as the war leaders of the clans.
Some of them still haven't had their voice break properly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they're still good at what they're doing, I hope.
Well, that they were all on their way to being clan leader at one stage or another.
And some point, and some of them haven't had very much practice at it yet.
No.
Yeah. Well, that's the
But
thing.
we're guessing you took them for a good reason.
Well, the thing is, if they're war leaders now,
Mm.
the rest of their clans have accepted them as war leader.
Mm.
So the fact that they're underage shouldn't affect things very much.
Mm. Prodigies.
In a lot of cases, they take the person who makes the most sense.
Yeah. Yeah, i.e. the one with the highest wisdom.
Yeah.
Which
You'd
is
hope.
which is what you want in a war leader.
You don't need to have a personality, you just need to know how to kill a lot of people very efficiently.
Yes. Sounds like wisdom to me.
And not your own people.
That's also sounds like
Yeah,
wisdom to me.
you'd hope there was enough there to...
yeah.
Yep.
I will inform them that there are 4 more elven clans arriving,
They look confused because they thought all the clans were here.
and they are clans that you do not know, and the stories that have been told over time about the disappearance of yourselves and why. We have Shadow Elf clans coming. They are not your enemies.
There is a lot of panic going through the group right now.
Yeah, particularly the young ones.
as most of them have been brought up with the Shadow Elves are bad.
Of course.
Some of them have even fought in the wars with the Shadow Elves.
I guess you could point out that this time they're on our side, so therefore that's a good thing.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
So is this widespread hysteria, or just like...
There's a lot of panic in the leaders'
Yes.
tent because
I will first calm them down.
though the king of the land says he doesn't think they can come here because the wards stopped them.
That's been adjusted by Dragonborn to make this possible.
He looks shocked. He didn't think anyone could
I listened to a really cool song
touch the wards.
On YouTube called The Dragonborn Comes.
Cool. Yeah, so
Sorry, random bit of thing
Random
Ray
bit of thing.
decided to share.
Yep. Yeah, I think I've seen that.
okay, so I will give you a persuasion roll to see if you can calm them from their panic of their horror stories coming to life.
Yes. Well, I just rolled that saying I'm going to. So,
What did you get?
26.
26. Okay, they seem to be calmed by their champion saying you'll be okay. I'll deal with the Shadow Elves.
Yes. Right, so once I've got them calm, I'm now going to make it bad again by saying the reason that they are following us is because I'm their champion and they've accepted me as such. I was made their champion by picking up a magic sword, not my own choice. However, this is the circumstance we have.
It's
They
how all
are
the champions were made.
Yeah. So
I mean, who
They
hasn't
under-
been there when they picked up a magic sword?
they understand this. Yeah, the thing is
This
they
is the reason Calcrix
No,
doesn't
no.
bother with stores.
Yeah, the thing is, they also know that the only reason the champion's sword actually chooses them is because they're of the right bloodline.
Exactly.
So I'm going to let them read into he's actually Shadow of bloodline. So they're following in and aiding us in a spirit of, you could say, reconciliation, because all of the stories that you have heard, all the stories you were just panicking about, all of those stories were stories about me calling you to this battle. All of those stories.
Okay. They seemed pretty calmed by that.
Yeah.
Some of them a bit thoughtful. And a few of them did pipe up with, but what about all the wars we have fought?
That misunderstandings on both sides.
And the technology use.
That is something that is going to have to be dealt with. It's actually being actively blocked in their part. There are things that I was being blocked from hearing when I was talking to them.
Well, the gods do not allow their technology.
No, to exist in the world as a whole, or to be spoken about or heard by those outside.
Elsundal specifically created magic to stop them.
That's something we're going to have to work through. And I'm going to have to talk to Elsundal about,
So
because
did you know why? Have you, like, in all this time, have you asked him why?
technology keeps destroying the world or doing horrible things to it.
Okay, right.
It wiped out most
It
of the
seems very
civilization.
generalised.
It's basically the same sort of thing about Tolkien being anti-technology.
Okay.
Because he was.
Yeah.
In his case, he did the same thing. Magic exists basically to stop technology existing. It's why so many stories have magic and technology be
But it makes
antithetical
indoor
to each other.
plumbing less convenient. Because
Just cut pipes is fine.
It's
as long as it
considered
doesn't have any
technology,
yeah, but as long as it doesn't have any moving parts, we're cool.
Mhm.
Most complex thing around is a sophisticated crossbow or a clock. Anything beyond that, no.
And you know,
it's
many things beyond that exist still.
Yeah, I know. The thing is, basically comes down to power sources.
Yes, I understand.
Yeah. Because if you don't have the power source, you don't really have a lot of technology.
Well, if you've got windmills and solar stuff. So.
Yeah, I know, but you don't have the ability to have
Anyway.
that amount of power in something handheld.
Yep.
That takes interesting chemistry or whatever. Anyway, so yeah, that's something that I'm going to talk to Ilsendor about, and yes, I can talk to him directly and will do. Yeah, we'll work that out. But later, they are going to aid us in this battle. They are on your side, they are not your enemies. Please inform all of your troops this.
Okay, you see a glowing thing appear on a map they have of the city,
Mm-hmm.
and then it just wink right off as I'll give them a. No, they didn't notice. But you noticed because you're sitting there talking to them.
Yep.
I think it's just one of their wards.
My
breaking.
passive perception is huge. So,
So
one of the wards has just gone fucked.
Yeah.
That looks like they're coming in now.
Okay, so you head out to where the staff is still in the ground.
Yep.
And you see that a portal has appeared beside it.
Mm-hmm. Rather larger one, I'm presuming.
Oh no, about the same size as before.
Okay.
And you see two elves step through, each carrying what appears to be a metal cylinder.
Mm-hmm.
And they put it into the ground beside the portal. And touch it, and then you hear a hum as the portal then gets about twice the size.
Okay.
And they start bringing more things through. And start also putting these into the ground near the portal.
Making a portal big enough for everybody.
That's what you think they're doing, yeah.
Yeah.
And
So...
each of them seems to have some sort of backpack and not carrying any visible weaponry.
Yeah. This is... Yeah. They're going to have to wear the after effects of them using technology for this. I'm just going to have to apologise. But I didn't think saying to the Shadow Elves, yes, we'd quite happily take your help as long as you don't use any technology. I didn't think that was going to go down real well.
Well, you don't think they've ever fought a war without it?
No. Well, they haven't had much of a chance to not use them. And they haven't had anyone enforcing it, is a thing. So... Yeah, if Elsendil decides to do something about it, I hope he does so after the battle. And it's not too catastrophic.
This doesn't sound like a good thing.
No, but telling them you can't use any of the only thing you have as power is not something that's going to work to a group of people who just said, we'll fight for you.
So it takes them about an hour to open it up to their satisfaction. Which seems to be about a portal about 50-foot radius.
Okay.
So is Payne following him around also?
Yeah, I'm presuming so.
I'm assuming Payne is in the area.
So you're watching all this happen. Fun stuff.
As then you start seeing something big and metallic come through the portal.
Bringing your fucking tank up.
Yes, yes,
So we know who's going to ask if they can use the tank.
I am a weapons master. I am trained in most weapons. I don't know this weapon. I want to be trained for this.
picks up tank, whacks people with it.
Yeah, I was going to say, she's going to go grab the
Grab the barrel.
and then just smack people.
So
with
do you
it.
remember that golem you saw on the mountainside?
That's made for...
You see something that looks a lot more practical than that walkthrough.
Right.
And it seems to have an elf inside it.
Right. Even better,
So is
it's
this
power
like
armor.
Gundam version? That's in D&D? Yeah.
So we have
It's a golem
battle
suit,
next.
sort of thing.
Like the kaiju.
I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it's not quite that big.
It's about 40 foot tall.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gundam
So
size.
Gundam size.
Yeah.
That's right.
You imagine
Knights
that
of
this is the
Sidonia.
sort of things that they've been using to maintain their civilization.
That's the other people that do that. Oh, Pacific Rim.
Yes. Yes.
So you see 4 of these come through.
Cool.
You think it's one of each kind.
Yeah.
And from what you do understand, there's probably another 6 more in the just in the city you're in.
Mm-hmm.
So that they have a lot of these.
Yeah.
Are these golems the tanks, or are they tanks and golems?
Well,
Golems.
you've seen the golems come through.
Right.
I haven't seen any tanks come through.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was the one who just mentioned tank. No,
He was hopeful it was a tank.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking
You
it might
got
be a
her
tank.
all excited for
It
nothing.
is a
Look
tank.
how happy she was.
No, it is a tank. It's a tank like a fighter is a tank.
I
This
have
is
the
this
tank.
is a very.
Well, at least if you can sit in it, you can just use fists instead.
I can
No,
appreciate it.
it's 40 feet tall. You're going to be using a 35-foot long sword.
You don't recognize the metal it's made of.
That's what she wants to hear.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not entirely surprised.
It's not an alloy you've seen before.
What are they called when you don't want to call them a brand name? Are they like exoskeleton type deals?
Power
or-
suits.
Next.
Power
Power
suit,
armor.
power suit, power armor.
Yeah.
We'll just go with
Golem
Golem
works
Golem
just as well.
tanks.
Bot suits.
And once the four have come through, you realise that they have been dragging chains with them as they're pulling something else through.
What?
Oh, ye gods.
You don't have too many toys you want to play with.
And the thing coming through is about probably about 80 feet wide
Okay.
as it's coming through. You think it's one of their war platforms?
Oh, gold.
So what is a war platform for people who don't know what that is?
Something I want as a mount.
You expect it to be the equivalent of a floating platform that you could
okay.
stand on and rain death and destruction on those below you.
Yeah, so you can see the whole thing and direct all the peoples.
Yes, the cool thing for ranged people.
And you can see as it comes through that there are slots all over it with elves in their own gear with weapons.
Nice.
Right. So.
Would they be the equivalent of airborne turrets?
Mhm.
Or detachable.
Oh, detachable as well. So like the TIE fighters we've been talking about recently.
In other universes, yeah.
Well, apparently there's like 1,000 different types of TIE fighter.
Oh, there's
Yeah.
stupid numbers of them.
It's okay, I know most of them.
Well, I watched these things with him, and then I'm going like, where did that come from, and why is that one different?
And unfortunately, I know why, and I can explain it.
Yes.
Well, that's why I watched them with him, so that someone else can explain it.
Okay, so yes, this comes through, and you can now understand why the elves have been scared of technology.
Because there's fucking
like-
scary technology
He's
out
like,
there.
I'm very good at it, and it's very scary.
Yeah.
And you do remember stories of the dragon gods being wiped out by the elves.
Yeah. Another reason for them not to like
What, you
technology.
mean my dragon gods?
Well, the original dragon gods.
But they would be like my old dragon gods?
You never knew those gods. They were wiped out before.
But they wiped out dragons.
They wiped.
Dragon gods.
They wiped out the
Calquix
dragon
is
gods.
seriously considering withdrawing coffee offer
Do-
to anyone involved with wiping out her.
Do you remember that
Ancestors.
Do you remember that elves have common ancestors with dragons as well?
She said considering.
Yes.
She's not actually
But-
going there just
Because
yet.
it was this level of technology that took them out.
Yeah. Yes. So ideal for Warcraft. Plus, of course, there's half a chance that this stuff will get at least mostly destroyed during the battle. So the locals will like that. If not, they'll take it home anyway.
So as when it finally exits the portal, the portal starts to close. As you realise, while it was about 80 feet wide, it was about 300 feet long.
That's beyond big.
Big.
That is ridiculous. Well, it's the size of a ship.
Yeah.
And it's the size of a big ship.
Yeah.
And once it's through, it starts to hum and rise up.
Of course.
As this is exactly the thing Redrian had talked to you about.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem to be old.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, what's powering it could be part of his technology and be really ancient. Which means I'm going to have to nick part of it afterwards, possibly, or at least tell Redrian about it, and he can come and pick it up.
And you see it rise up above the trees.
Mm-hmm. Actually, seeing I've got Redrian's staff there, I might do exactly that.
Mm-hmm. You go off and grab the stuff.
Yep.
Okay.
Before talking to him, though, I'm going to thank the Shadow Elves for turning up, introduce them to our war leaders, remind both sides that there is no reason for either of you to battle or have any animosity. Well, everyone should apologise for the wars. I'm apologising for being the cause of all of it. That's why everyone's here. None of you were slaughtered, except the ones in the wars between you.
That was on you.
So I'm not going to say that. I'll let them think that one. Okay. No fighting. We have Moorcroft to beat and his people. And this person here will brief you guys on what we're facing.
So I gather Dracomir's Nimas reported on the other forces we're facing.
He's busily
Facing?
checking
Or
those.
is he currently still collecting?
Still collecting information.
Yeah.
It helps with Jeremy not being here that he's collecting information.
Yeah.
Yes. So now I'll talk to Redrin.
Okay. You managed to get through to Redrin. He says, "Greetings, Luel. You have news?"
Have you been keeping track on what's been going on here recently?
No, there's a lot of stuff happening over here with the threat of war for Tyranny.
Okay. Well, there's a war on at the moment. We're in the middle of it. I'm in the front. And the war is for the survival of the non-Shadow Elves. And I've just persuaded some of the Shadow Elves to help. The reason I'm contacting you is they've turned up with what looks like some sort of golem armour that's about 40 feet tall and a huge floating combat platform with a lot of people in it, which I think may be part of what you're looking for.
Okay, touch it with the staff and we'll find out.
It's 100 yards up right at the moment.
Touch it with the staff and we'll find out.
Yeah. Well, I'll see what I can do about. Oh, can I see it?
You can see it.
Dimension door on top.
Okay, you manage the dimension door on top. You find yourself on a big open platform. You can feel the nice cool breeze here.
Put the staff down.
You put the staff down and touch it.
Yep.
And you hear sort of a buzzing sound from the staff.
Mm-hmm.
And then Atruaghin says it's not based on his technology.
Oh well, that was that then.
Ooh.
Cool. Thank you. Teleport back. Dimension door back down again.
He says, be aware that it is putting out dangerous radiation levels.
It's a good thing it's up in the air then.
And it would also indicate that we don't want it to stay for too long.
Yeah.
Because it could kill our tree.
Yes. Definitely. Well,
Yeah.
the whole point of this is shorten the battle as much as possible and then tell these buggers to send it back home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it something that perhaps we want to make sure doesn't get close to the tree, considering the tree is on the verge of dying and only Mary is keeping it alive?
Yeah, well, they're going to be fighting against the bad guys.
Yes.
So they're going to be as far away from the tree as
I
possible.
still don't think it would hurt to just tell them, don't come to this area.
Yeah.
You know, even if there's no reason they might not.
But that's finding the king or finding the war leader he's sent through and saying, look, could you make sure that thing is out and about and
Like
beating up
Calcrix
on
can
the bad
run
guys?
off and find them and tell them that. She's very
if you could-
energetic. And she can fly.
You make a very good point. Could you please go and do that?
And she's had coffee recently.
Triple shots. Triple shots.
Which explains how quickly she's asking the question.
She talks so fast sometimes she doesn't hear herself.
Yes.
So yes, Calcrix goes flying off.
Yes.
Mm.
I'll take more coffee. Just in case people need some. None of them have my logo on them, or where to find my coffee or order it from.
Uh-huh. You make sure of that to make sure you keep your...
No, they all have my logo on it. You tell people what access my coffee.
Okay.
It's just I've named it after Grindelwald and giving him all the credit.
Oh. Right.
Okay, so from what you can gather from Redrin is the Shadow Elf technology is a derivative of his, but it's not his technology.
Okay.
It's not powered the same way his is.
It's just bloody dangerous to be near. Or at least the platform is.
and he suspects it combines magic and technology.
I would not be at all surprised.
What? Interesting.
Considering the gods, from what you know, the gods had put a stop to technology.
Yeah.
Would understand why it's not the same as the technology that used to be.
Yes.
They found a way around.
Yeah, by using magic for part of it. And then finding some way to, well, using presumably radioactive material to power the magic they use for this stuff. Yeah, okay. It's a bit scary.
Do you remember your mother talking to you about the light of Raphael at one stage when you were a child?
I will think about that for a little bit. And
What is the significance of the light of Raphael?
that's what I'm trying to think about. Yeah.
Give me a roll.
So, history this time,
I'll
right?
allow you to have a history roll.
Cool. Well, it's 24. Let's see if I can get better. Nope.
A 24?
Yep.
You do remember that there is a god of technology known as Raphael.
It was in one of the. It was in the list of one of the alternate versions of Mazikeen.
That rings a bell.
Yes, that's the staff that I was carrying.
Ma-
It's the
Mazik-
staff of Mazikeen.
Yeah.
But Mazikeen is connected to Raphael.
Yes.
Not
No, sorry,
Raphael.
not a version of, but there was a connection.
There's a
between
connection between the two
Yeah.
of them.
them.
So
Mazikeen in this universe is demonic?
Mazikeen
No.
is hard to tell because very few people have ever seen Mazikeen.
Okay.
And most people that do feel like they've gone a little crazy because
technology.
he doesn't look like anyone else.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure that I'm...
He doesn't appear as any race who speaks to him.
Okay.
Unlike most of the gods who appear as the
Yeah.
the person trying to contact them.
Yeah, but he was god of technology and puzzles,
Okay.
and particularly maze puzzles.
Gotcha.
The head of the staff of Mazikeen was a three-dimensional
Like
maze.
sort of thing. Okay, cool. And the connection to Raphael.
Yes.
And Raphael
I'm just making
is a
sure
god
I'm
of science.
I'm getting my lore correctly because that's also biblical stuff. So.
Yeah.
So what makes it hard is that most people don't know about Raphael because he's not well accepted among society due to his science tendencies.
So is he the turtle that is never in charge?
Yeah.
We should offer him pizza.
I'm sure he'd enjoy it and probably tell you how to make it better.
Well, that's just rude.
Well, they'd probably say add pineapple.
Well, okay, maybe I might agree with them then. Depends if they double all ingredients. My rule of thumb for a basic level pizza is
So
double
yes.
everything. Yes.
You do have these memory of Raphael being important to early stories that you can just grasp but not remember.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
is
something
there a
to look
stage
up.
at one point where you should consider whether we should use all of these? Even though they're helpful? Should we be considering the consequences of using them and the effect? Considering that...
Well, considering the circumstances under which I gained the aid, telling them to send back the strongest weapons they have isn't really an option.
No, I guess not, but... You know, considering that that this technology has wiped out other people and it's the reason why your god is against it, I think it should at least be thought about.
Well, it's a reason to say to them, the moment this battle is over, those things go back first.
Which I'm already telling people.
Those are not, and you presumably know this, these are not to be out in the world. Because there are various gods who object to it.
It's a bit like giving Lani a sword and telling her she has to give it back after combat. It's quite rude.
Well, the moment this combat's over, you can go back to your trident, which is better.
Okay,
I don't know. I don't think she's decided that yet.
Yeah, well,
You might end up going back with the shadow people. Back
Um,
with their toys.
A small platform comes down from the big ship and lands nearby.
mhm.
And on top of it, you can see there's about 10 of the elves there, each with boxes.
Uh-huh.
And they're asking for volunteers.
What kind of boxes?
Just boxes.
Just boxes.
Just empty
Volunteers.
boxes?
Volunteers for what?
To help with the fight.
Do you not have health?
I think you should do it.
Well, I'm needed down here, but
We carried enough to equip more than we brought.
Oh, so is it boxes of armor or something?
yeah. What are the boxes you're carrying?
Arms and armor.
Lonnie will step forward.
Okay.
Lonnie stepped forward before they finished
Yeah.
saying the question.
Yeah.
We have
I mean,
cool. Oh,
Lonnie
you'll take your
has
box already.
some cool arrows from last time, but like anything
Yeah.
extra would be nice.
Well, they suggest you take off the armor you're wearing because it's a bit constrictive.
Alright, my magical.
Mm-hmm.
I will see what they have to offer. I will be the judge of what would be good. I believe I see your guys'
I don't know, I
stuff.
feel like you're
I feel
backing
like it's
off a bit.
I feel like it's pretty good. I feel like you guys have some really nice stuff that I would like to inspect so I can guarantee that I have the most amount of movement possible.
We
Okay.
want to check that it doesn't emit radiation.
Is that what you said?
Well, I would
Okay.
I would check that it doesn't emit radiation before
Yeah.
I used any of it. I don't know about Lani. It depends on her enthusiasm, but she seems to be a bit cautious right now.
I'm undying, so just saying.
Undying, the type that can live
That's-
through 100 years.
Oh
of
no, I'm
radiation?
guaranteed
Or-
probably gonna die.
So one of them
Stupid.
picks up what you've seen the other elves who came through wearing, some sort of squarish backpack,
Mm-hmm.
and says, "This is all the armor you'll need."
Yeah. I'll note that she's
I
called the Undying because I usually
try to
stand
ask
behind
how
her
it
casting
works.
healing spells.
Yeah.
Well, you put it on and you push this button. He's got a similar backpack on. He puts that down first, and as he does so, you see metal slide
It's an
out from the
expanding
back
suit.
Ooh.
and surround him in what seems to be very articulated armor.
Iron Man suits.
Yes.
Lonnie will go ahead and
And you see glow in the center of their chest.
before it
Of
even
course.
before it even stops and
You pick a box
she's
up.
gonna be like, yes. So
He says, "Don't worry, it adjusts to your size."
perfect.
That's where I get the. It's
Yes.
going to be less.
No, it's okay. You
More
don't need
flexible.
to strip down to the skin. Oh, too late.
No, maybe she needs to feel it against her
Maybe.
skin to
really
make sure
appreciate
that
it properly.
she's. Yeah, that's it. She can evaluate it.
She grew up as a sailor, doesn't
And says that this was only dangerous if the core is breached, but if the core is breached, you're dead anyway.
Alright.
I don't know,
That
does
sounds a
Pain
bit
want
bad.
some of that armor? I'm guessing he's into Pain, so maybe not.
What?
Not actually.
Are you going to wear any of the super Iron Man style armor that the elves are offering us?
Why would I want to?
Because it looks cool?
And
I don't know.
They say that magic can't penetrate it.
Because you don't want to die? Maybe? I don't know. You might be into
Has
dying.
Some big advantages.
You're welcome to want
If
to
only
die.
I
if you
could
want.
die, I would die very happy, but alas, I'm not
Both
allowed.
directions, correct?
Yes.
So,
Right. Not useful for a spellcaster.
I think Pain is accepting armor.
Okay, so Pain finds
no,
him-
he's not, because he's a spellcaster.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I just said that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. It's, yeah. Won't allow magic either way.
Oh, okay. Yep.
It's been designed specifically to stop magic.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I didn't click that the first time.
Yeah. Well, no, you were talking while I was finding
Sorry,
it out.
I
No,
did
no,
do
no,
that.
it's fine. It just means you missed it. That's I had no problem with that.
Okay, in terms of like stats and stuff.
Not at this stage.
Okay, cool.
I would say the battle's coming next game when Jeremy can be here and everyone's here.
And then they start offering various weapons that look like sticks with sticks off the side of them.
Sticks with sticks.
Guns.
Is it guns?
Look like rifles.
Rifles?
We are talking technology
yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would they be like blasters or actual guns?
More like energy weapons.
So kind of like
Blasters.
laser blasters type deal.
Closer
rather
to Star Trek than Star Wars.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So more like pew pew.
Little phaser things.
Pew 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 pew.
Yeah,
Not
phasers.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Warlocks did it first.
They did,
True.
Lonnie will inspect.
because you
whatever
find that
biggest one is.
the trident doesn't work through the armor.
Yeah.
Oh, who's that
Yes.
then?
Bitch, you have a blaster.
Yeah. And Warlocks have the advantage they can't be disarmed without an axe.
I think we do have other. I have the spear that is Bane of Casters. I can use that as just like a regular spear, right?
The regular spear, the spear,
Yeah.
the magic spear won't work while you got the armor.
Okay.
It actually
think any of your stuff
cancels
will
out
work.
magic.
That's what I was
Will
thinking.
be their weapons.
I just want to double check, well, like that one being specifically the Bane of Casters. I was just curious how that would work.
But you know, you could ask if you could run one of the golems.
Yeah.
Hmm.
No, it's all good. So, yeah, I'll take one, whatever the biggest one is,
Okay.
along
Just
with
one?
a small one.
Well, they have a really big one that they say will only fire every 5 rounds.
Oh, I
Yeah.
I want,
A light cannon isn't something you want to use.
no, I would like, perhaps,
Not if you want to be
a
mixed
rifle
with things.
of some kind.
Yeah, exactly.
It easily attaches to your armor.
Perfect. And I need a pistol of something.
Just one, really? Just two
Maybe
weapons
two.
you take.
Wait, can I do a weapon?
A melee weapon and a ranged weapon.
Apparently they're very light. If I wasn't a magic user myself, I would consider having several guns.
I took the other. I took defensive duelist, not dual wielding. That's right. So
But on the bright side, the armor does integrate with their weaponry.
perfect. Oh wait, no.
You want to start a stream?
Later.
At this stage, I believe I do two.
Everyone can use 2 weapons. They just do it a little worse than others. So most of D&D is concerned with the fact that you can roll for each weapon separately. The dual wielders can have some attacks that use both weapons at the same time.
I think I've got dual
Yeah.
wielding, but I
It's,
I'm magical, so I'm likely to use that.
Yeah, no, I don't think I don't think I have dual wielding. So that's good. But yeah. Anyway, I'll take a rifle and a pistol thing. Because I'm expecting
What about a regular?
long or medium to long range and then short range.
So what if you also took like a regular type sword in case you lost your gun somehow
I
and
have-
you needed a weapon?
I also have my longbow and I do have a
Okay, so-
regular rapier.
Yeah,
so.
you have other weapons in case you lose your weapons.
Yeah.
they do have melee weapons.
Well, I just think sometimes it's always wise because almost every fight you see, they like lose one or two of their weapons and then they kind of screwed.
So they also have melee
Yeah, which is why generally a PC will
They have what appears to be staffs and
Generally how you pick
what are like
an
small
NPC
swords.
from a PC.
Yeah.
Small sword?
Generally a
Well, you're not really sure how big they are because you just see the handle
Yes,
sticking
and
out of the
generally
case.
Things like I've got a ranged weapon, a melee weapon, a backup melee weapon, a specialised ranged weapon, and a specialised melee weapon, and that's my minimum.
So that's where we all come to that scene where they're like, you have
Yeah,
to take off all your weapons.
So
And
they
then
offer
end up
you
with a
a sword or a staff.
Yeah,
I'll take a
he was
sword.
only carrying
Okay.
15 kilos.
They tell you that the sword won't cut through your armor.
Just couldn't see it.
Won't go through my armor.
Yeah.
Well, it will cut
Oh,
through
yeah.
anything else organic.
Anything else organic? Okay. Perfect.
I presume that means anything that's living, i.e. orcs, trolls, elves.
As long as it
Try
doesn't-
not to hit your own side.
We'll even
long
cut
as it-
through undead.
as long
Because
as it
undead
doesn't,
Oh, wow.
undead are
Because
organic.
it is organic. Yeah.
as
Yeah.
long as it doesn't bounce off their armor.
The sort of thing it might not cut through would probably be elementals.
Mm-hmm.
Because most of them are generally elemental. So
Elementals.
So like
yeah.
living fire or
Yeah.
living earth.
No, I know what they are. I just
Yeah.
thought you said lemon tool.
Oh, no.
And you realise it actually has no blade itself, except the energy of the weapon is the blade.
Oh. Yeah, it's a lightsaber.
It's a little because I already
It's a
had-
brilliant energy weapon.
Because I had
Yeah.
I had a magic sunblade, which is right now. This is. I was like, oh no, I got this. This is easy.
And on the bright side now, you can't cut yourself while you're wearing the armour.
Hey, look at that.
There you go.
And you realise that some of their fighting style is they actually use these weapons in close combat because they can't harm each other, but they can absolutely gut
Right.
anything they're fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
And they even give you a couple of explosives that will emit the same energy.
Awesome.
They are basically the equivalent of a platoon of grunt soldiers that go out and just massacre things.
Hell yeah. Joining that for sure.
Yeah.
You can understand why the rest of the world is scared of them.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
You see parts of the ship above you detach and start heading north and south
Mm-hmm. Okay.
as you think they're
They
sending
are-
scouting parties.
Yeah. That radiation's a bit worrying.
So I'm guessing from Payne saying that only warlocks don't need weapons then. Payne is also a warlock.
Yep.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So you think that from what you've heard from them is the radiation doesn't actually emit, powers everything, and is detectable.
Yeah.
So it doesn't radiate things, it's just energizing.
But if you destroy the casing, then
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah, then
Yeah.
it does. Okay.
whatever powers it is dangerous.
Hmm. Yes. Yeah.
Lonnie keeps practicing away from other people. So
Mhm.
she doesn't actually cut.
And you do notice that the energy it emits is not bright.
Very different than any other thing.
Most of the other things, brilliant energy blade by the above ground world is visible easily in the daylight.
Right. Yeah.
This is not.
Yeah.
You just get a sense of blackness where the blade is. So it actually is dimmer.
Wow.
Well, I'd be saying it's like a shadow elf technology.
So it's
Mm.
a shadow. It looks like a shadow.
Well, it's designed to not take your dark vision away. If you live in darkness, would you actually want to remove the ability to see?
Would that be useful to Lonnie, or would it actually impede? Because I'm presuming you don't have dark vision.
No, she doesn't.
I'm a human, so it looks like a shadow to me.
Yeah.
You can still see the blade. It's
Yeah,
just
okay, see it.
Yeah, that's what I was
so you
wondering.
can still see the blade and the weapons. It's just that it's not a.
So if I was in darkness, I would use the sunblade, not this.
Yeah.
And you'd still see the weapons in darkness, but it would provide no illumination for you.
Yeah.
I just can't. Yeah. I'm human. I can't see anything in darkness, so it doesn't matter.
Hmm.
Blind our elf friends, though.
You
Yes.
stick around Calcret, she usually has dancing lights.
Yeah.
She uses them to distract axe beats from killing party members.
There you go.
Very useful.
And to running out of energy when he's hyper.
Good, yeah.
Okay, so after all these things head off, Drezel returns to Luell,
Mm-hmm.
and
Calcrix offers coffee.
yeah, he happily takes it
That's what
and then
she
sits down.
does.
Mm-hmm.
You know how Drazzle always offers up a hug first? No, that's
Yeah.
Calcrix's coffee.
Mm-hmm.
What a good team.
Yes. You offer them coffee and then he hugs them and they spill it. Hopefully not.
Technically, she could be holding her tail while hugs her head and then hand it over.
Just Luell needs to make a choice.
And you have done a lot of work over a long, long time. And I appreciate your work.
Does Luell wish to be this, or does Luell wish to be something else? He gestures around the city, as does he wish to be here now. This and only this.
Is he offering him to become a time traveler too?
No, he's offering him whether or not he wants to spend the rest of his time at this battle
So you will...
and only be known for what he was.
So does that mean he's going to die at the end of the battle, or that no one's going to know about him after the battle?
No. All I'm going to be known for, if I say this, all I'm going to be known for is getting to this point.
Yeah. And why is that significant?
Because that's not me.
Okay.
It's what I've
Because
done.
that ends his story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's what I've done. It's not what I am and not what I'm doing. I have done to this point what I can. There's no point in me staying here. So, not here. What are you suggesting?
Home.
Does this mean Lua's not fighting the battle? Oh, you're going somewhere else?
Well, apart from fighting a few of the enemy,
Right.
there's not actually a hell of a lot. Actually, there's not a hell of a lot for any of us to do individually.
Okay.
Like there's 35, 40,000 people here.
So you're going back to your shadow family?
What did you mean by home? I have multiple homes right now.
He shrugs. Choice.
Without a clear view of the alternative to staying here and leading this.
The choice you make determines who you become. One of the first times you've heard him actually speak in a sentence.
See, this is such full sentences. Ridiculous.
Well, this is the thing. He's actually trying to speak clearly rather than the way he normally talks. Which is a bit of an adjustment because I'm sort of used to the way he normally talks.
You feel he's worked. He's spent time thinking about this.
Yeah. What would it entail if I took that choice? As in, you say home, where would I end up going? What would I have as for this, apart from the influence I've had to this point? Do I not participate in the rest of this battle at all?
Strategist, you are not, he says.
What was that, sorry?
Strategist, you are not, he says.
No, I'm not. That's why I've been making sure they all work together. And yes, at this point I'm not needed. They are working together. I may be needed for talks afterwards. In fact, I will be needed for talks afterwards. But
Everything aside, if you can't do those talks afterwards, you've done sufficient talks beforehand.
yeah,
That they've got somewhere to go.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. Even if it's all the Shadow Elves go back home and that's the end of that, then we're fine. There's no one trying
War
to follow
lasts
them.
many years, he says.
True.
You may have to give up your armor after all, because, you know.
If you stay, you do not leave.
Well, there is that as a nice, clear choice. Thank you.
You will always have reason to stay.
Yes, I will. So I can't. So the others will come with me.
You can all hear that
Which
conversation.
Calquix has a big tear coming down her eyes, and she's doing the pussy boots thing because she thinks it might mean that she loses her new friend straight away, but she doesn't know yet.
And Payne's probably going, eh.
Yeah, Payne's like, go!
I guess I'll look to Mel and I'll say, you have to do what's right for you. You brought us here. You led us here.
As he.
We're ready to die.
As
here.
Drazzle said, if I stay here, then I stay here.
Yeah, then he won't be with us anymore.
Yeah.
Perhaps if he goes,
Yeah.
we might be able to go with him. But and that's why Calcrix is like, what?
Yeah. Well, no, you'll be going. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if I stay here, then I will become the interface between the Shadow Elves and all the other elves
Plus all the elven clans who
They'll
all
become
have different
dependent
beliefs.
on him.
based here.
Yeah.
And he
I will
won't.
have to build a place here to do
He will
it.
no longer be himself, basically.
He would basically be retiring from adventuring.
Yeah. And that's
And at this stage, it might not actually help these people anymore for him to stay.
no, it won't.
But if he continues adventuring, he has the opportunity to help others.
Yeah. Plus, I can spread the actual story. Actually, I'm going to be really careful how I put what the actual story is
Just
about
read
the
it
Shadow
from
Elves.
Drazzle's books. I'm sure he's taken care of that.
Yeah, he writes novels.
And there are at least 3 previous outcomes of how it didn't work out good for him.
Yeah, which I do want to read at some point.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
yeah, but if I can spend time outside laying the groundwork for Shadow Elves to come back into the world, even if only a few of them, because they have to give their technology up and most of them won't want to, then that's a life well worth doing.
Okay.
There's no personal reason for me to stay here.
So what do you want?
And that's
Work
what
hard for it.
That's what Drazzle's
that's
pretty
what
much
he's-
asked.
That's what he's
Yeah.
asking. Do I want to
And that's
basically
what-
give up myself?
Our party are kind of saying,
Yeah.
whatever choice you make, you know,
Yeah, as I
we'll
say,
respect it.
There's no point me staying here, therefore I won't.
You want to go.
If I stay here, you guys are
Wait,
probably going to
does that mean we don't see this battle?
Yes.
We prepared for this.
Mm-hmm.
We've worked so hard, and there's going to be no combat.
Drazzle, we want lots of pictures.
I want a picture book, like just a book full of pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd work.
Yeah. If you could get a couple of people to give you a hand, we want to see what's going on, please. Plus, we'll get descriptions.
We'll get
of it
those
from
artist
afterwards.
sketches. Or Zal's dad's skull projecting them to the world. Don't worry,
Yeah.
it's different.
Yeah, there's spells for putting images on paper.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And projecting images too.
yes.
Film.
Hallucinatory
I
Terrain
suggest
is an
people do
interesting
film.
one for that.
Sorry, what was that?
The spell called Hallucinatory Terrain is a very interesting one for that.
Yeah, because it's-
Hallucinate terrain.
Hallucinatory terrain
Oh.
is basically, it's like, the sort of normal illusions, like you can
Yeah.
do things like, I'm going to make an illusion of all those dice are actually yogurt,
Yeah.
right? Little ones.
Yeah.
Right? That's like a cantrip,
Yeah.
or first level spell. Hallucinatory terrain, you could do the same thing with something the size of a house,
Yeah.
or bigger,
Or a football field.
or a football field.
You can turn
Which-
a flat ground into a volcano type deal.
You can turn a swamp into flat level ground
Yeah.
and have people charge across it.
Turn a volcano into
Yeah.
a flat plain.
And because it's a ritual, then you can do lots of them.
So,
They also last quite some time too, from memory.
Drazzle promises to write the outcome again.
It's going to journal it all over again.
Yes. He's already done it before, why not another one? Yes. But
He
could
seems to enjoy writing.
gives him something to do in the 1,000 years while he's waiting for things to come back.
Might as well.
That's the thing, he has had 6,000 years to write stuff.
A lot of wisdom can
Plus
be found in
redoing
fiction.
this multiple times. Yes. Yes, if it's possible to find someone to do pictures, actually having a Hallucinatory Terrain picture book, it's a flick, you're surrounded by an illusion. Flick, surrounded by another illusion.
What you need is a journey walker from my world. They literally get into your mind and they show you that bit of history as if you're right there.
Yes, but this would work for everybody.
Yeah,
And
they
if
can
you-
do
if
it
you
for like
have-
hundreds of people at a time.
Yeah, but in this one, if you have sort of a small change between each one, and you do a spray book, you get a movie.
Yeah.
the size of a football field.
So he asks, "Are you ready?"
Yes.
He hands you his stuff.
Oh.
I'll make sure I've got Redrin stuff. Yeah.
So now you can look like you've got kind of crutches, but they're like walking sticks.
As you grab Reggie's stuff, you sort of see a portal opens beneath the two.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I would like to make a point that I do have my trident in leather armor and all. Grab it.
Yes. Grab your bag.
Are we allowed to come though? Like, is this something that we're all allowed to do? Or is it just been offered to Lure?
Brazel gestures to the portal.
And
Step through.
Calcrix hugs Dravel really tight and slips bundles of extra coffee beans into his pouch.
Yes,
And chocolate.
All of you step through. I will go last.
Okay.
Somebody, actually, could
You get to go first.
Actually, could you fly off and go and get Dracnifal?
Yes. I would suggest that I get Drachnima and
drag him.
that's the other question. Will Neri have to be next to the tree? Because right now, is it she supporting it?
There are others who can look after that.
Okay. Well, then I will grab both
because it's just
of them.
pouring stuff.
Is there any? Because Drachma's like really good at camouflage and hiding. Am I going to need like a spell to find him?
I think he'd be wandering around this time.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Plus,
Good grief, you people waste time.
Yes.
Yes, but it's fun and it gives us reason to drink more coffee.
that's a good point.
Yeah.
The thing is, he may be stealthy, but you're looking at him from above.
From above.
So
Yeah.
you're
All right.
likely to pick him up.
I
when other people
will
won't.
collect our other two wandering party members. And if Payne looks at all reluctant to come with us,
Unfortunately, you
I
realise you
push
can't
him
take the armor through the portal.
No,
your new armor.
It's sad.
Does that mean she's going to drop through naked?
In a very
Shoot.
no, I
No,
had
just wearing
actual
clothes.
clothes. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I'll
No,
leave
that
it.
thing about being naked is
Kate
just
looks
me.
at you all and wonders why you're not going through the portal and says, "You all waste so much time."
Yes.
And
Let's-
walks through the portal.
Let's try not. As people get close, I nudge
like
them
how
through with my foot.
This is Kate's
I'm
excuse
only
to get out of
delaying
battle.
to get the rest of our party.
Yes.
That's it.
So
yeah.
no, I leave the fancy Iron Man armor behind in a nice pile for the elves.
So
In-
at
in
this
his
point,
box.
is Duke and Cover
Yes.
choosing to stay behind to help with bombing things?
I'm happy for him to stay behind and
Yeah,
help with him.
okay.
Besides,
But
he's probably looking at this technology going,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I will let him know and
I
he
can-
might come over and
I
say
can give
farewell.
all of my armor to Duke.
Yeah.
I'm like, Duke,
he'd be happy with that.
this will go to your size. I promise.
Yeah.
okay.
But the question is when he continues his illusion, as he does, of his three mini gnomes standing on top of each other, are they all wearing the same armour?
Unfortunately, it doesn't work through the armor.
Oh,
Because it's magic.
Duke doesn't really want the armour, but thank you. He's really attached to his three mini gnomes stacked on top of each other in their trench coat, full of potions.
Okay, so stepping through the portal, you find yourself in a forest, very similar to where you are now.
I know it's going to hold things up, but Duke would come back and say goodbye to these people.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to thank each of you in turn for saving his life and honouring him with the privilege of being able to work towards this immense goal that you guys have helped create. And if he can get in contact in the future, he'll let you know what happens.
I give Duke a big hug. Picking him up.
Yes.
Very hug.
And he goes,
How about this one with that elemental aspect?
Yes.
Very fiery.
Yes, but without being actual flame.
and if you're okay with it, I leave each of them with a mysterious potion.
Sure.
They don't know what it does. I'm not going to tell them what it does. This is for them to take with them.
You may go boom later.
Hey, folks, step back out of the portal.
Sort of,
For a moment, Duke goes, "Who the heck are you?" Oh, look, have one anyway.
you're not supposed to drink that.
Yeah, just don't drink this stuff. Artillerist.
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 We made it trill on this
Oh,
one,
okay.
I
so
misspelled
it was
it.
a musical bomber.
Bombed in tune.
Yes. Yes, you were.
Okay, so yes.
Not farting,
Step
more like
through
the
the portal
1812
into-
overture.
Yes.
Into
Tuned gun.
Into an elven forest which you recognise as being Elfie.
Alright. Oh, okay, so we're returned to Elfing.
We've got a quest hand in to do.
Mm-hmm.
And you find yourself at your father's property.
I think it's time for us to rest a short while before we go anywhere.
And on the other side of the portal is Drazzle sitting at a table writing in a book with a blue robe wrapped around him.
Mm-hmm.
He just looks up at you, goes back to writing.
Through the portal.
Drazzle is writing. Yeah. So, everybody, I'd like you to meet the house that I grew up in. We're going to go in. I'm going to make sure all of us have a good bath because we all need one. We'll have our clothes cleaned, we'll have a nice meal, and then we'll continue from there because that's the way the universe is going to work right now.
As you realise that there's been bath prepared for everyone and a some sort of platter has been laid out with a lot of different foods.
See, I'm good at this. Now.
Bonnie sadly eats the food. She really wanted to try those new buttons.
At least you got to hold them.
Yeah.
And like watching them go past and going, but I don't get the plate.
You have a
Exactly.
mysterious potion by an artificer.
Exactly.
Which means use it quick because it's not going to last.
I'm going to discuss with Martin those details.
Well,
Okay.
that's the thing. If you're also an alchemist, you can make stuff that'll last.
Yeah,
She's also an
Okay.
alchemist.
yeah,
Okay, there you
I
go.
am.
So,
That's why I need to discuss with him what
Specifics will
the
be.
what he would be happy for me to create rather than going, I'll do this, and he's like, no,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. Here's a list of my suggestions. Which ones can I choose from?
And then going, none of them? Okay, I'll have another think.
Well, you could start with, I would like something that does something like this.
Yeah.
Is that available? Yeah. Because, yes, it is possible to go, that's a level 15 potion.
Mm.
You don't have that yet.
Yeah, generally just make sure I don't break the rules, because
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
that's too much trouble for people,
Mm.
including myself.
Okay, so yes, you find yourself back in Alfheim and
Yeah.
your father walked into the room. So you want to describe him?
Yes. Open the right document. What you see,
So that was a surprise. There's this battle. You're not going.
Yeah.
Well, you had a
Yes.
chance of going, but if you did go, it was basically going to be
Really
many
was
years of
retired.
fighting.
Yeah.
yeah,
When you said years, I'm like, this means we're not staying.
yeah. He's obviously an outdoorsman. He's not
Obviously.
weathered skin on an elf.
Oh, okay, yes.
Yeah.
Alright.
He's even got a bit of a tan.
Right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's.
He's a hunt master,
He's cream instead of white.
basically.
So, you know those cartoons where Bugs Bunny turns
Yeah.
up with like a carrot or something? That's Calcrix with coffee on
Yeah.
every time she meets someone new.
Yes, he's also ginger.
That's
He's
that's an interesting combination.
He's well. Most gingers have got really pale hair. He's just got a tan on a ginger.
Yeah.
Long hair tied back.
So we're talking like, it looks like they had an overspray type tan, like those chicks in England that look more orange than they are.
No, this guy actually does spend a lot of time outside.
Okay, alright, so it's not a fake tan, look, it's a
No,
proper
God,
tan.
no. As I said, weathered skin. You're not going to get that on most elves either.
Proper outdoors woman.
Yeah,
For hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years.
yeah. He is using a cane, but given the bandage on one of his legs, it's for an injury, not from
Oh, okay, not a
anything like
permanent
that.
thing.
No. And the moment I see him, and I will see him very quickly, because passive perception, as I said, is huge, I will introduce my father, Dareth Damar.
He bows.
Dareth, as in I.
Dareth.
Sorry,
D-A-Y.
Ah, here we go.
E-R-E-T-H.
E-R-E-T-H.
Damar is D-A-E.
Yep.
M-A-E-R.
I got that one.
And he asks, how are the shadows treating you today?
Very well. It has been an experience. They've been of aid in our endeavours.
So I said, so they should.
And they didn't kill me, even though they could have done.
Well, it's just that they don't kill their own kind. He winks at you.
Yes.
Of course, shadow elves don't really exist, he says.
No, of course not.
Anyone who says otherwise generally gets hung or imprisoned or thrown in the loony bin.
Because they're obviously wrong in all possible ways.
Just drink.
I'm their champion, by the way.
He knows.
Yeah. But I didn't know if he'd seen the sword or not.
He says he knows.
Yeah. Well.
And then he points
yes.
at Drazzle.
Of course. The fact that my passive perception is huge is because his is huge as well, because he's a ranger and he's good at this stuff. I got that from him.
So Drazzle's actually here?
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks to be a lot younger than the one you met in the other forest.
I still go in and check to see if he's still got the coffee. And if he doesn't, give him more coffee.
He accepts the more coffee.
You
Gives
said
you a hug in return.
Oh yeah.
You realise that his robe is actually just his wings wrapped around him.
Oh, that's cool.
So he's old enough to have wings at this point.
Yeah.
But not old enough to be 12 feet tall.
Yeah.
He looks to only be about 7 to 8.
Oh, does
So
that mean Calquix is getting close, or is she only
Yeah,
5?
basically my height.
She's been about 5 and 6.
You do make a very good coffee. So,
I took like extras to make.
so Father
coffee.
dear, darling, how much do you know about what I've been doing recently?
Your sisters report him quite regularly.
And they know a lot about what I've been doing because they've seen it like a number of times, which is actually pretty scary because they've basically watched me die, I think.
Well, we've got stories where you've died.
Yes, and now one where I haven't.
Yes, apparently if you didn't come home, you died.
Basically.
Well, glad you're home.
And the great tree is approximately safe. If this battle works, it is fully safe.
Well, it is reported as the last stand of the Elves.
There's a couple of ways to take that though.
It is. Many ways to take that.
Yes. Both of us look at Drazzle.
He seems to be sketching.
We did ask him for pictures last time we talked to him.
That's right. So, I'll introduce all the others. So, Lani, and then I'll give her full name.
You don't have to introduce me. Me and Drazzle go way back.
I'm introducing you to my father.
Oh, to your father. Oh, okay.
Yes.
In which case I give him some jazz wings. Because I'm the white dragon with the jazz wings.
That's right.
And he greets you politely in Draconic.
Yes. And this is...
I am impressed by that.
Yes. And this is Pain, who I get the impression is a description rather than a descriptor.
You fell off.
Yeah, he'll pop back on again later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're just telling me got introduced.
Unfortunately, that's the downfall of having to travel.
Yeah.
That's why we try
Black
to,
spots.
including where we can. Oh
yeah.
no, you played
Yeah.
with David.
It's all good.
I did try to play one game remotely on Skype by travelling back to Canberra by train.
Yeah.
There are patches where there is just nothing.
Yeah. and
So-
sometimes the train is so noisy.
And then I assume,
Yeah.
how does it go introducing Dracula?
Well,
I-
at least he's got a name this time.
Yeah, I introduced Dracula. There's a lot of similarities between what Dracula does and what my dad does.
Yeah.
You know, they're both
Outdoorsman.
hunters and outdoorsmen.
Though he does recognise him as chieftain to be.
Yes. Because he's wearing the right insignia now.
Well, he's not chieftain, yeah.
No, but he's got the bits, it's all there. So, I have a lot of apologising to do, apparently.
He just shrugs and says, Shadow Elves don't exist, that works well. If you make an issue of it, you become the issue.
Oh, God.
You trade one prison for another.
Sorry, can you say that again?
If you make an issue of it, you create an
Issue
issue
of
of
The Shadow Elves. Because
Elves.
Shadow Elves are accepted as not existing. This is
Right.
something I didn't think of before. So, Paul has been worrying like blazes for hours for no reason.
And this is where his dad has been highlighting, but they don't really exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? They don't exist, therefore I have nothing to apologise for.
Yeah.
And if he insists on
Except-
apologising, he then
Yeah.
gets imprisoned for his
Yeah.
acts in relation to it.
And
Yeah.
and my apologies to the Shadow Elves has already been done.
Yeah.
Because he gave them what they wanted.
Yeah.
So it's just like you have anxiety. You worry about things that you really shouldn't be worried about.
Yeah.
But you can't help it. You worry about it anyway.
Exactly.
Well,
It's because of the kind of person you are.
yes. No good impression.
You can absolutely trust that villains don't have anxieties.
And one thing you do know is you are in Elfhelm City at the moment.
So it means you can enter.
And the sword's here. And no alarms are going off.
That's... I will ask Dad about that.
I guess, well, you are Clan Llewell now.
That's a point, which means there's nothing for the alarm to alarm about.
You will not set off against Clan Llewell.
No.
Because it's not a threat.
Yes. That's the thing too. When I introduced these guys, I introduced them as Clan Llewell. I'm not sure about you,
No,
because
no.
you weren't there the intro, but yeah.
Yeah,
the
I've
others
only
are-
been here a couple of times. I don't mind being a part of your clan, but I won't be worried if I'm not.
Yeah, so these are Clan Llewell, and they are officially elves.
I will make an immature plea to my god late at night saying that I'm not included with the rest of the party. And
Or your god will tell you to ask me.
no, my god will explain to me why I'm not. I'm pretty much one of his favourite child.
Yeah,
Children.
there's nothing wrong with you asking.
And
Hey.
also the dragons all have their own clan, so they're quite happy being
Actually-
inclusive.
I was going to say, it becomes
Actually,
a
you'd be his
problem
clan.
when you change the gender of one of your fellow party members and their race, because the polar bear that they had as a familiar is depressed. And you're like, well, I don't want the polar bear to be depressed, so without asking the fellow party member, I tell my god, this is a problem and I want to fix it. My god goes, right, done.
Rather than doing a major restoration of the bear or removing its mental problem.
The main issue was the bear had never met the party member in his previous incarnation.
Oh.
So
So when he arrived in that previous incarnation, he didn't know who he was because he knew him as a her, and her as a different race.
Yeah,
So
she
it
was
just
an elf
it was
instead of a
confused.
dwarf.
Yeah,
So yeah,
Was he a hill dwarf?
actually, mine
it was a hill dwarf instead of
and
a
then she
yeah.
became
sun
an
elf.
elf.
Actually,
Yeah,
minor
sun elf.
restoration would do it.
You know,
Sort of, boom, you're
I
fine.
was like 5 or 6 at that time.
God, yeah.
I'm still not much older now, so
And the dragon girl thought it was a far better thing to fix.
expect to have
Easier.
Yeah.
You'll have to be a babysitter occasionally because she really is like a 6-year-old.
It's funny.
Well,
with
Yeah.
insane
If
capacity.
if you go on functional age, Dragonfall is the oldest of us by a long way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You're next.
Yeah, it would be him and me. By functional age.
Because-
Even though-
Well, it depends on fear, on pain, because
Oh yeah, but I guess we don't know what pain
I'm
is.
only a few years out
Oh
of being an
yeah.
adult.
Pain.
Yeah, because you're fairly young.
Yeah,
You're young by elf standards,
Oh, yeah.
whereas
Or what by elf?
he's young by
No.
elf standards.
I'm
Right.
functionally I'm the equivalent of a 23-year-old human.
Yeah. Okay. So a young
Um,
adult.
Whereas I believe
Yeah.
I put myself as like 27 or 28.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
getting up there for a human.
Yeah. Well, apparently your life's over after 40, so you've only got 13 good years left.
Exactly.
Unless you become one of those grizzled hero trainers that
I'm
keeps around
technically
forever.
almost dead.
Hell, yeah. I am Alani the Undying.
Yeah.
Hey, look, you survived a huge battle.
Hey,
Yeah.
there's,
I did.
yeah, you can legitimately say I was there and just leave at the start of the battle,
Yeah,
and it'll still be a truth.
I was
is
there.
A sailor.
Yep.
She
Yeah,
is known
I was
for
there.
having long stories.
Yeah.
I was there at the battle's beginning, and I'm here in front of you.
I was there, preparing for the
And
battle.
I-
I had weapons at the ready. Everything was here.
And I
It
did
was
not
going
run
to
like
be
a coward,
long,
so-
long battle. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no, don't tell them that bit. Just say you were there.
Mm.
That's it, because you were there.
No, I embellish it as much as possible.
I think
So-
that's required.
Next session, you will be level 9.
Oh,
Yeah.
even Calbricks?
Even Calgridge.
Okay.
Because everyone's at the same level.
Yep.
Yeah, I was just checking. To be honest, I read up her stats and then forgot them. Aside from the fact that I'm medium and that I was like 8 or 9 years old. Because I knew my original party when I was only 2 or 3 months old. 3 months old, I think it was. And then I disappeared and came back to them when I was about 5. Well, because dragons had to raise me.
Well, that's fair enough.
So there will be an interesting repercussions from the story going on.
Oh yeah, it sounds like it will.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
And seeing why the Shadow Elves are the way they are is an interesting twist.
Mm.
And that the fact that they interact in Elven society and even they tell Elves that they don't exist.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I guess there's sometimes a
There's no such thing as super.
it's more practical than others, if that makes sense.
So that gives you an idea that the Shadow Elves have been involved in Elven politics for quite a while.
It's funny.
They just don't do it blatantly and overtly.
Shadow elves.
It really does fit everything that is about them, and basically, so that would be pretty much what your sister would have as birthmarks if she saw it without being covered up.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
pretty
okay.
cool.
Yeah,
That is the sign of a Shadow Elf Shaman,
that is
one of the followers of Raphael.
pretty awesome.
That's pretty awesome.
So, is the red dragon there out of coincidence, or does one of the other game groups have something on the horizon? Have you
That-
shown them a photo of that sitting out on the table?
Oh yeah.
Because, you know, that's going to make every one of them go,
Well, it works for Shadowrun.
Possibly
Works
even
for
the Star... I was going to say, possibly even the Star Wars people, because they got, like, dragon-like things on there.
Mm.
But yes, I did pull stuff from here. And technically, the Shadow Elves do run on radiation.
Yeah,
Which is why they're not going to be able to come above the ground.
Yeah. I know you've done a lot of reading for this one, so...
That's pretty cool.
It's been working on it almost the whole 2 weeks.
The idea was not to have you guys be the battle,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but see what the battle is about.
Yeah.
Well, to bring all the people together, although Lul did most of that, we helped Lul.
So if you hadn't have brought in the other clans, then they had no chance.
Yeah.
But
I had to bring in everybody I could.
there was only one clan you didn't bring in,
Which one was that?
the Blood Elves,
Oh.
the sacrificial elves. of the
Yeah,
whole world.
I'd say that'd be really hard for everyone to
That would
really
be-
adapt to.
That
The problem is they have the banner of your opponents.
Yeah.
So if they were brought into the city, your city would not survive.
No.
Pretty bad.
Yeah.
They would pretty much undermine everything.
So I think
Yeah.
this was a good choice.
I think
Yeah.
so, yeah.
Exclusion works just as well as inclusion as a strategy.
So I thought you'd enjoy how that story went. So I always intended it to close off with you seeing the battle as it goes.
Right.
I'm not sure where he is, but
Hey David, we see you're back online. How are you doing?
Yes, I ended up in the middle of it, but it's quite frustrating.
So what you just missed out on was that we were just doing the closing, so they got to see the end of the storyline that they'd spent close to a year playing.
Yeah.
Where they return back to Alfheim and end up gaining a level.
Nice.
So that puts Payne at the same point as your Wednesday night character.
Yep.
So he'll be level 9 as well.
Nice.
And next fortnight they'll be picking up, seeing what happens then, because there's a whole
adventure.
nother storyline for that year.
So we're totally going to bump into someone named Frodo.
Or Bilbo.
Doesn't Frodo's adventure come after Bilbo's? Technically?
Oh,
I'm
it's
not
just
talking
Django.
movie release.
Yeah,
It does, but Bilbo's the one about excited for a new adventure.
Yeah.
Frodo's
Never mind
regretting it.
Frodo or Bilbo. I prefer if we found Django Fett.
Yeah,
Maybe just get ahead.
Yeah, just Django Fett's head. No problem.
yeah.
Funny.
We can see how hilarious you feel that is.
Yeah. I'm excited to have you join Tuesdays.
So thank you for sitting in, David.
Yep.
No worries at all. It was actually really nice to listen to.
Oh, well, that so that one was more story than combat, because they basically needed a closing storyline for what happened, and
I'm totally fine with the story.
and so next session they will be having many options laid before them.
Choosing the next one.
Luckily for them, they're not going to the land of black sands and going up to the hill and asking lots of questions.
Yes. Plus
Yeah,
we've got,
so obviously I'll do my best to be in attendance as much as I can, but obviously reception is always an issue.
Yep.
Yeah, no problem.
We understand, and we'll make allowances for it.
Yeah. We're happy to have you just because
Alright,
occasionally you
just go
are
like-
really fun.
I'll do it.
We know Pain is just very quiet.
Yeah. Pain is in so much pain that Pain chooses not to speak sometimes, which kind of reflects my own experience with Pain.
right.
Yeah, so Pain will not audibly speak. He'll generally communicate with you
Telepathically?
Yeah, so I didn't actually intend that, but it turns out it's kind of one of his possibilities, so I was all about it.
That's pretty cool.
I like it.
And so we will see you tomorrow night for Shadowrun.
Yeah, so I will actually be at home.
Well, that'll be cool.
Woohoo.
And a relief, I would suggest.
Yeah, that'll be my last day off, my last proper day off for about 3 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Yay!
You can do it with more coffee and just...
That's not me at all. Yeah, I'm actually buying a pot machine for my truck tomorrow.
Okay.
Now, I guess gathering you mean a pot coffee machine and not a pot marijuana machine.
First of all, that's hilarious. $2 coffee pot, POD.
POD, not
Yeah, pod.
pot.
Yeah.
Pod, not pot.
Yeah,
Yes.
no one wants to get my opinion of that, but
Still being
do,
recorded.
I do know that if you can't choose something else, that pods are, to most people, a legitimate
Coffee.
alternative. I just
Yeah.
make cold brew.
I have literally no time or ability to do anything else. Also, it's literally in a truck.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, that is cool.
Yes. Sort of reminds me of one thing that was done with Living Greyhawk. Just a little bit of a side thing.
Yeah.
One thing they kept doing with the Australian written modules was they kept putting in things like dope and pot and various things. Like at one point we had a camp and we had checked around the camp because you do, and one of the things that was findable was a pot plant. He didn't specify that
Yep.
it wasn't a plant in a pot.
Hash brownies, anyone.
You could get that. So I picked it. I told the GM I'm gonna dig it up and put it in a pot and take it with me. And he went, "Yep, okay, write that down."
And in real life, I was so naive at one stage.
Okay, so I'm just going to put this on
Oh,
end
wow.
credits.
Yes, put it on anything.
I was just going to say someone told me about hash browns and